With the Butt Kicker Gamer 2, what you see and what you hear is what you feel. Butt Kicker. The future is feeling.
Good evening, race fans. Welcome to another Wednesday night edition of the PRL for the NASCAR Truck Series and Xfinity Series at the 5-turn Pocono Raceway. I'm Terry Radford. Derek Watson joining me aside. We wanted to put it up twice. Derek, 5 turns or 3 or 6. Technically, you could probably fight for 8, maybe. I don't know. What do you think? We're going to go truck racing and Xfinity racing tonight.
We are. It's going to be a fun race. It's a pretty wide racetrack, so moves are possible here, especially on the front straight. We can see nice, tight moves, and then probably what's going to be a draft package for the trucks at least. But yeah, whether it's 3 turns, maybe you listen to Ryan Vargas, current NASCAR Xfinity driver. He says it's 5. It could be 7 with the little chicanes getting on and off pit road. Who knows? But yeah, we're at Pocono this week, Terry, and then there's the schedule there on forward.
Yeah, I can't wait to go to Richmond next week. You will hopefully be the person calling said race from the action track at Richmond Raceway, Michigan at IRP, which is Lucas Oil Raceway, Watkins Glen. Then we have the Milwaukee Mile for the final one. And the next 2 are this week. We'll be on the same schedule, and then we'll divert off from what our counterparts for the NASCAR Xfinity Series are going to do. But we'll take a look right here at the point standings coming into tonight's race with Dallas Sullivan holding a 1-point lead over Kevin McGarvey. Dallas had a little bit of a weird night last week, but this is anybody's ball game. All the way down to Dalton Geyer in 6th, 130 points on the board. He's only 16 points out. A good run from him. It'll be anybody's guess who can win this, with Brett Adams sitting there in 10th. And then our team championship, that's a close fight as well, as we look right here with Loaded Dice Racing 318 with DDI Motorsports All Day right behind him with 247. I would say it's a 3-horse fight that you have Black Flag Racing back there as well, all the way down to Bull Creek Racing with 185 and 10th. But man, point standings are going to be important and coming to the halfway point of the season. It's a good guess for people.
It is a good guess. You know what? And we've seen this already in the team points, Terry. It just takes one good night for a team, and that can change very drastically. You could close a gap or extend a gap with just one solid night from a team. So who knows what will happen here. But qualifying is underway here at Pocono Raceway. This, of course, is a beautiful track. But yeah, let's go ahead and get ready here, Terry. And you got to tell us about some people.
Well, the one thing that it's going to try to be consistent is talking about some sponsors. We'll start with Advanced Sim Racing. It's owned and operated by passionate sim racers. Advanced Sim Racing designs and builds the sturdiest and most durable aluminum profile racing simulating cockpits available in the market today. All PRL members get a 5% discount on ASR products using the Precision5 coupon code. Then you got Racebox Sim Racing. Racebox offers mid and high-end button boxes for sim racing enthusiasts, from the casual gamer up to the most meticulous sim racing driver. They're competitively priced and carefully handcrafted. Their button boxes are an enjoyable addition to any sim racing setup. visit raceboxsimracing.com and get a 5% discount using the Precision5 coupon code. And then the Butt Kicker. Butt Kicker products add incredible immersion and realism to every game. Feel every nuance and truly put yourself in the driver's seat with the Butt Kicker. You got Mechasim Hardware, the small company from the Czech Republic. Their goal is to produce high-quality sim racing hardware. And if you're looking for high-end pedal sets, hand brakes, or sequential shifters, visit Mechasim Hardware's e-shops right now, and I mean now, to get yourself up to speed. Then you got Muradness. They're a performance lifestyle brand motivated by motorsport and founded by professional race car driver Daniel Morad. For more information, visit muradness.com. And new to the series, but number one in everybody's hearts, Mr. Hedge Sim Racing Photography. Capture your finest, proudest, or, in mine and Derek's cases, our worst moments from our hobby or our life if we don't touch grass in up to 8K resolution. It's a great addition to any sim room. That's Mr. Hedge Sim Racing Photography. I didn't mess it up too bad tonight, Derek. Sounded pretty good.
It did sound pretty good. Look at you. That's a good read there. I'm proud of you. It's like my little kids growing up right in front of me.
Well, I took time. I sat around and just read them all week. I was just telling everybody at work that, you wanted good pictures on iRacing, you just go to Mr. Hedge Sim Racing Photography, and you'd be all right.
Did you sing him the song?
Well, I mean, the Mr. Plow song only works so much.
Okay.
These kids are too. They're too young to remember The Simpsons back in its heyday.
Fair enough. Well, this is Zachary Austin here. He is from Georgia, going around in this NASCAR Truck Series Ford machine. Got that colorful livery on it. It's not the base colors, Terry, always remind me of the Scooby-Doo color scheme with the logo, but I know it's not. But that's always what comes to mind. I know it's much more colorful and flavorful than that, but that's what I can't get out of my head.
Nice little flamingo on the side of that bad boy, but these laps are going to take a minute to get around here as most of the drivers who are on the track at this moment just came around to take hot lap number 1. You don't want to wait too late in this session to put down one. Just take a look at the track temp. It is hot, 111 degrees. Wind's not really going to help them out too much, 2 miles per hour, partly cloudy. We could see this track cool down a little bit throughout the race, but who knows? Did you see right here? Gonna go through, it looks like, is that the turn 3? Is that turn 3? That is turn 3. It looked like the tunnel turn there for a second, but now down the front straightaway, we'll see what lap time Zachary Austin of the 45 puts down, a 55.8. Lap 2 should be just a little bit better. That puts him third with Matthew Kirikoff taking the top spot right now.
It should be. So let's walk through the corner for a second. This is going to be turn 1.
And 2.
And 2, depending on your view. This turn is modeled after Trenton Raceway. This turn has 14 degrees of banking. Then you'll come down your first of the 2 shorter straights. This will take you down to the tunnel turn, the hardest turn, in my opinion, at Pocono. This turn is modeled after Indianapolis Motor Speedway. This has a 8-degree banking. And then we'll come down this second short chute here. And this will take us into turn 3, modeled after Milwaukee. And this is 6 degrees of banking. So one of the challenges at Pocono, Terry, is sometimes you're great at one corner and you'll have a hard time with another corner. That's just the way this track works. It's hard to be great in every corner at Pocono.
Well, it was a pretty good pickup right there for Zachary Austin. This, unfortunately, for Mr. Austin, kind of only landed him 20th, but it's better than being last, you know what I'm saying? So got Kirikoff up there, still holding the top spot as Dalton Geyer almost lost it off for turn 3 or turn 5, depending on how you go, and his lap time reflected it. Lap time did not count, as I believe he might have caught the wall. So that was a 59.593 is what Dalton Geyer got there. But we talk about Matthew Kirikoff for a second. 9 100s off the top. He's on the top here over Alan Dice. I think this is going to be a good race for him. And I truly believe that whoever wins this race, you talked about Milwaukee being a turns 3's model. I think whoever wins this race goes to Milwaukee and wins it.
That could be. I was thinking that later, especially for the Xfinity race that we're going to do next, how, 2 of the 3 tracks on the schedule remaining are based on corners at this track.
Oh, hang on to her.
He's finishing it.
Here,
that was almost a wall. I was going to say, though, my takeaway from Dalton Geyer's laps, Terry, both times out of different corners on both laps, he is really loose in that truck. And that may be good for qualifying, but, man, in race trim, that will prove problematic all night long.
Well, it's definitely problematic because that puts Dalton Geyer 27th out of 28 trucks that have put a time down. Adam Shane right there slotted in 15th. Ronald Overbay, Stacy Hunter, and Philip Beaver are the 3 that have not set a time, and they're not going to get one because qualifying is over. No surprise who your top, I would say your top 5, top 6 are. We'll go through the starting lineup here in just a second. There it is. Matthew Kerkhoff takes your pole here with Team CPR. Alan Dice from Loaded Dice Racing to the outside. Hayden Palumbo and Dallas Sullivan. It is a CPR, Loaded Dice Racing, 1, 2, 3, 4. Then you got Kevin McGarvey and Cody Atkins, your top 6.
Picking up here at P7, you got Ryan Traver and then Brandon Chatley. They're in P8, or excuse me, starting P8. Steve Loving and CM Pennington round out your top 10. That's a great run for CM Pennington right there. And then Brett Adams and Austin Hunter round out your top 12.
And we head on back to lucky number 13 with Alex Hillman, Zach Panzarella to the outside, Adam Shane, Stephen Kirby, Robert Goff, and Dylan Schmidt, 18.
Picking up a 19 here is Richard Pruitt with Colton Easterday outside in 20. Garrett Austin and Timothy Emmanuel, 21-22. And then Barron Hilton and Tom Imasi there in 24th.
And rounding out the field, it's going to be Zachary Austin, Edward Peltz, Dalton Geyer, and Oliver Goff, with Stacy Hunter showing that he's going to race in 29th. I don't see anybody else gridded with Philip Beaver and Ronald Overbay not on the grid. So that's a look top to bottom of your starting lineup of the ones who have actually gotten into the race. Not sure. As there's Ronald Overbay, he's going to jump in. He'll slot 30th or 31st. We'll wait for the 60th Philip Beaver to come onto the racetrack or onto pit lane while they grid. It'll be one good pace lap. But Derek, next week they head to Richmond. For all these drivers, turn one's going to be difficult here. But I don't think you really want to leave Pocono in a bad spot, especially going to a track that anything could happen.
Oh, yeah, anything can happen. As we look down here in this beautiful shot, you see that sideways start we do on iRacing sometimes. But, yeah, I agree with you. You don't want to put yourself in a spot next week at Richmond where, beating and banging, the bump and runs and everything is so viable. We're going to start to pull off here finally. And you know what, Terry? The biggest incentive not to wreck for me at Pocono is how long these darn pace laps are. Oh, my God, it's like 2 minutes a lap here. If you want an incentive not to wreck and cause a yellow here, it's how long the stupid pace lap is.
The pace lap does kind of go long, doesn't it?
It's like and all kidding aside, I forget, it's somewhere between 1.5 and 2 minutes a lap. I can't remember the exact time, but it's pretty rough.
Well, we have something with Garrett Austin, who's in this field, and you talked to him. Where's he racing from?
He is in a hotel. He is on his way home from New Hampshire Motor Speedway. So this is Garrett Austin's setup for the night. You see, he's got the nice wheel with the RGB laptop. That RGB, by the way, Terry, I think that adds 5 horsepower. I don't know if you knew that or not. But yeah, that's his setup for the night. So much kudos to him. All kidding aside, I could not race on that screen.
Yeah, I like my triple monitors.
I like a big monitor. I don't care. I mean, triples is great, but that little tiny monitor would be like ants walking around a track in front of me. I think. I don't know.
Well, he's got VR right there next to him.
I
think he's going to race the VR. So that's a good little setup. I mean, I wonder how strong that hotel Wi-Fi is. That's got to be powerful. That's got to be really powerful. If he ain't blinking. I mean, he qualified 21st. But I tell you what, we'll find out what the 34 of Garrett Austin can do here tonight as the pace car sedan will turn down onto pit lane. What do you say? Matthew Karakoff leads him to the green. We're racing at the tricky triangle. Lap one is going to go by, and a little bit further in the back. That didn't look too pretty. Driver got out of line. It's going to go 3 wide, a little further back. That almost turned into a mess right there, but nobody took it 3-4 wide like we normally see. I think we'll see that in the Xfinity series, but here you just seen 2 wide, and I say that, and they start going 3 wide a little bit further back.
Well, you know, and the more impressive part about the 2 wide though, Terry, is they all held it 2 wide through the tunnel turn. I mentioned during qualifying how hard that turn is, and I'm not exaggerating. To me, that is the hardest turn on this course, and it is tricky getting there through 2 wide because the guy on the outside does not really have the grip or the preferred line through that corner.
We saw Stephen Kirby in the 109 slip back just a tad bit. Take a look right there at Zach Panzarella is going to slide right in front of Robert Goff. Great aerial coverage presented by Mecha Sim Hardware. I hear they can do anything, so it sounds good. This is going to be great shots all night long as you see Richard Pruitt starting to come into this fight. He's trying to get 16th. Karakoff sets down a pretty impressive lap time there with a 54.9. Leading the field, no draft, and he's starting to pull away from Alan Dice just a little bit. He's getting good runs off the corner. We'll see if Dice potentially can go up here and make a run at this afternoon. 40 minutes around here racing this. People normally race this like a road course, and you try to stage it correctly. Short pit. Oh man, who was that? Was that Trevor or Cody Atkins? That's Cody Atkins. Almost lost it.
That is an impressive save. Like, all kidding aside, there's a lot of drivers who would not have saved that, being that loose out of that corner. That takes a lot of talent and patience and skill to get that done. That was really impressive. You take a look at Ryan Traver trying to snake it down the front stretch here. We saw Geyer in qualifying almost go sideways and hit the inside pit wall. I would almost bet you that before the race is over, somebody's going to hit the inside wall on the front stretch coming out of 4. We almost saw it in the first lap, actually, right? Because the most common thing that happens at this track, Terry, is that you're tracking out of 3, you track really wide, you hit that wall on the outside, and it sort of pinballs you to the inside. It's pretty easy to do here, despite how wide this track is.
We still see this battle going on. Steve Loving, Ryan Traver fighting it out. Battle right now starting to snake up front. That's Dallas Sullivan in 3rd. Trying to get as much draft as possible in these trucks. These things are all about momentum. If you slow up too much in turn 1, you mess up the entire lap. You literally go the entirety of a lap that'll just go away from you. So we'll see if they're able to keep the pace under these things. As the top 5 has kind of pulled away right there from Cody Atkins in 6th. That 81 sliding back about almost a second from Kevin McGarvey in the 77. But the train keeps coming. 5 laps down, coming to complete and put 6 on the board. At 25 and the 46 looks pretty stout to go up there, maybe contend for this win.
They really do, and I'm going to talk about the snake for a second. First off, because I'm confused why it's happening. But let's talk about what it is. It's more commonly a real-life IndyCar move, where you're trying to snake and get the guy behind you out of your draft, right? That's what you're trying to do. You're trying to break that drafting lane. But in the case of everyone but the leader, if the leader's going to snake you, if you guys would stay in line and have the patience, let him snake around, let him screw up the speed, and you guys just catch up in the drafting lane. Everybody snaking is where I'm really lost in this moment, Terry.
Yeah, it does get pretty hairy. We'll take a look at the replay from the save on lap number 1. We're on board with the 81 of Atkins, and yeah, I wouldn't save that. I tell you that right now, there's no way. There's no way I'm saving that thing. Oh, wrecking to the back. He hung on to, into the wall. That's the 92.
Schmidt, I believe, right?
Yeah, that's Smith in the number 92, hard into the wall.
Green will stay out
here.
Pretty much a single car incident where he was damaged below the racing line, so we should stay green here. Now, what could happen if these guys have real life spotters is, you got to pay attention to those things. This is a long pit road here and whatnot. So I think he got help, though. I don't think he was single, but we'll take a look in a second. But let's see it real quick. Oh, he got the turn 2.
Oh, Easter day.
But you notice what happened there in front of them was that Schmidt almost got in the back of someone else, and I think he lifted.
Almost got in the back of Richard Pruitt.
Right.
He checked up there, and I mean, nowhere for nowhere for Colton
Easter day there.
Yeah, nowhere for Colton to go in that move. But Ryan Travers starting to slide back a little bit, and he's falling hard. Like that, it's not even close. He's got Austin Hunter catching him. They're about to go around him for the 10th place position. He got passed by Brett Adams, Brendan Chatley. That was a real quick move for the 03 to start falling down the leaderboard. We'll go on board here with Austin Hunter in the 312, the established traffic control machine. Looking like a Dr. Pepper can out here.
I can say right now for Austin Hunter, a key for this race, Terry, if he wants to find some spots, is at least in turn 1, if we stay on board here, we'll find out. In turn 1, he needs to track out more to the wall. Let's see if that's a theme here across the turns. This is turn 2. This is the one themed after Indianapolis.
That was a good tunnel turn.
It was a good tunnel turn. And let's see turn 3. This is the one after Milwaukee here. This is the shortest amount of banking for any of the 3 corners.
Oh, that's a good 3.
The yellow. That's a great run, but all the 3 lines, what I keep noticing, Terry, yeah, you got to get out there a little bit wide. Getting out there wider, what it does for you is it allows you to throttle a little sooner and pick up more speed down these straightaways. All 3 corners, I think tracking out wider is the key to his success.
That's something you're going to talk about next week at Indianapolis, is using all of the track to your advantage to keep the speed.
Course.
Yeah, the speed's going to work the best. But they always say that Pocono does race like a road course. You have to be able to get all the way to the wall, use every inch of the racetrack that you possibly can. Just take a look back here with let's see, Pennington and Panzarella. The 2 Ps are fighting for the position here of 13th, as Alex Hillman's right behind. It's a whole train with Goff, Easter Day, Emmanuel, Austin coming up a couple spots with his VR. Oh, he's in the grass. Finally, somebody in the sim world touched grass today.
And speaking real quick about CM Pennington, Terry, he's up here in 14th. This is on the verge of being a career best, or at least a season best run for Pennington. He's had a rough season and some really rough qualifying. That P10 qualifying run tonight was really impressive out of him.
Yeah, he's doing a lot more coaching stuff with Abner. Definitely learning quite a bit throughout the season. And CM's a good guy. He really is. I think if you want to see somebody that you want to see succeed, it's CM Pennington. I'm on board with the old Pennington guy, because he always just has a good personality about him. As you see him fighting with Alex Hillman right there for that 14th position, but you just want to see him succeed. And I mean that goes for most of the drivers in here, except for Austin Hunter. I can't cheer for my man's.
Well, overall, a little bit of contact in a couple spots, Terry, but I'm going to dare to say it. Hold on. They got a little close there in the corner, but they're good. They're back in line. Overall, a very clean race so far. A little bit of contact here and there, but no major calamities, no major accidents in the tunnel turn. I'm going to ask you, Terry. We both race here on our own racing careers. Oh, hold on. That's
You
three
almost,
wide.
yeah, you almost jinxed it. You literally started to
I'm
say
sorry.
that everything is clean, and then we almost got it. There's Barrett Hilton. Oh, to the outside of the 39. That's Emmanuel.
I think if we look back again, I think you'll see the 39 just kind of got loose there coming into the tunnel turn and got a little unconfident about being 3 wide. And he decided to lift, and sometimes that's not the best move in the tunnel turn. That was scary. So I was going to ask, we both do our own racing outside of broadcasting. What is your least favorite turn at Pocono?
All of them. I hate this racetrack.
Fair enough.
I absolutely hate this racetrack. I love iRacing. That is no secret that iRacing is my favorite thing on the planet other than my wife. But favorite hobby is iRacing. But I hate this track. This in Kentucky, I would burn both of them, turn them into parking lots.
Fair enough.
Kentucky is the worst track on the planet, provided good finishes. But just take a look here. We got battles around the racetrack. Some people don't hate Pocono as bad as I do. Hayden Palumbo doesn't seem to be hating it too much. Neither does Cody Atkins, as he's worked his way back into this train of cars. As there's a battle for the lead, Alan Dice has taken it from Karakoff.
Look at that draft in the bottom right of your screen, by the way. Look at that draft happening with the one truck down there.
Timon's got our race lead changed and pulling away at that. That Dice has passed Sullivan, but on your screen, it's showing Karakoff in front. I'm confused.
Technology, I tell you.
I think we might be behind.
Not sure.
We were. I'll be damned.
So that's there you go. There's a lead change. So yeah, it's Alan Dice has moved up here to the lead. And a great job here. So let me come back real quick before we finish this topic here. If you had to race at Pocono, what's your least favorite corner?
Turn 1.
Really? Okay.
Too much speed. Hard to slow it down. You know who's not slowing down right at this moment? That's Hayden Palumbo going to the inside of Dallas Sullivan, trying to get the run, but Sullivan's going to clear. Now Cody Atkins is going to jump to the outside. Not going to be able to make that pass work. The 81's got to tuck back into 6, but he's going to look to the inside in the tunnel. Oh, almost turned him. That almost got scary, Derek.
That wasn't almost. That was scary, Terry. Hey, that's a good rhyming name.
That is a good rhyme. Scary Terry.
I'm proud of myself. Yeah.
Oh.
No, here we go. Now, see, look at this snake going again. I just don't understand. Like, I don't know. I don't get why all of you are snaking. But, yeah, then again, I'm up here and they're down there. I don't know. Do you have an opinion on the snake? Am I missing something in this snake? What are your thoughts? Is it just monkey see, monkey do kind of moves, or what are we doing?
Well, I mean, you're breaking the draft is what you're attempting to do, because I mean, you want to be able to take the draft away from the drivers around you. I'm not talented enough, and Richard Regan Jr. told me today that Dallas Sullivan's in the wall. But Richard told me today that I would actually have to have talent somewhere, so kind of deflated my ego just a little bit. But yeah, they're snaking to break this draft. You see the redacted car people do it all the time, but I mean, nobody's doing it as aggressive as Alan Dice. I don't know why Austin Hunter's doing it. There ain't nobody drafting him. He's just breaking a draft just to break it.
So, we see Dallas Sullivan here on track, or we did. Oh, we got pit stops here. Hold on. It's Richard Pruitt down pit road, Terry. I suspected there would be pit stops here, and this is a track that is not always conducive to caution. So here's our first green flag stop here. Off cycle.
He was way too short in the box.
Yeah, he was there.
Karakoff's falling off.
Maybe someone who burned up his tires and was really just kind of going hard, hoping for that first caution, and now that it's not happened, he might have himself a problem here. He's down to third place already.
Yeah, this is definitely when I talked about turn one. You could easily overdrive this corner. I talked to a couple drivers this week about Pocono, and one of them told me that, sorry, when you're in the truck and you go down these straights, it's so drafty. It's kind of, if you're able to keep the draft, it's kind of like Daytona, where you stay tucked up, and if you stay in the wake of a driver for too long in these trucks by themselves, you'll push up too much. You'll easily overdrive it, burn the right front off of it. I'm not too sure if that's what Karakov's doing, or maybe he's just back there trying to track out and save a little fuel. You don't necessarily want to be the lead car here all the time. As Cody Atkins actually stood up the racetrack there, almost caught the wall. Let's take a look at Hayden Palumbo going to the outside of Matthew Karakov into turn 3. He's going to make that one stick, and Karakov's starting to back it down just a little bit. This could be a potential fuel saving, or like you talked about, a potential stuff. Is there's a couple people up front. Sullivan comes down pit road, and hey, Pruitt, by the way, stayed on the lead lap there. Stayed right in front of Alan Dice.
Yeah, this is the point I meant to hit earlier, and I think we got distracted by something, but this is a long pit road where if you think there's a caution about to come out, if you have a real spotter who can give you that hint and you can get down pit road in time, you could benefit greatly here. But yeah, he'll stay on the lead lap. It's not impossible to get lapped here while pitting, but it shouldn't happen, that often under green here.
Well, he should have been out just a little bit further away from Dice, but he did go short in his box, and he had to jump up just a little bit. So that extra little second, so probably about a half a second on the racetrack for the 24 is he has to pit again. I think he got a penalty.
I'm guessing speeding, yeah.
That's a tough break. As got a couple more drivers starting to come down the lane of the pit. Karakov's in, Adam Shane, Brad Adams. Those three come in, and if you're the leader, Alan Dice, if you're second, McGarvey, or you're Palumbo, you might want to think about coming down pit lane because you're potentially going to get jumped. We're at the halfway point. This is technically, if we get a caution, we'll take it to 40 laps because we'll burn 3 off on the pace laps. So the official one is 21 and a half laps would be our halfway point. But right now, I would say that if you're tanking time-wise, this would be the halfway point because you'd have to suspect we'd get a caution flag at some point in time, whether on the pit cycle or after the pit cycle.
So I think the play that's happening right here, though, Terry, is we see
Dice.
Alan Dice, that was come down pit road. The play you could be making here, I guess, is hoping that you get on pit road now, stay in the lead lap, and then the yellow happens, and then you cycle back to the front when those other guys have to pit. I'm trying to process this thought in my head. Hold on, we have a 9 car wrecking into pit lane. I'll finish this thought in a second. Let's get back there if we can. That Colton Easter Day, the 9 car?
That would be the Easter of the day. I told you somebody was going to hit it. Oh. And that would have been a massive break for Steve Loving, Cody Atkins, Traver, Goff, Hilton, Dalton Geyer. We saw Dalton Geyer wrecking loose in qualifying, and he's up to 7th. Granted, it is during the pit cycle, but it would have been crazy to see it as you see drivers coming off the pit lane while our leaders are just now coming to the front stretch here. We'll see if these drivers decide to come down and pit this time by. Loving's in, Atkins is in, Traver is not. So the 03 of Ryan Travers hoping to get a little bit of track position, hope to flip the strategy. If you're Robert Goff, Dalton Geyer, they're all going to come in, except for Geyer, Emmanuel, Kirby, Hunter, all stay out. They're praying for this caution.
They are praying for the caution. You're right. That's the game you're playing. But I'm trying to process the thought in my head, Terry. I think these guys can go the whole way. I'm trying to process a thought in my head of 40 minutes or number of laps. Yeah, you'll have some tires who are begging for help. And I'm not sure in a truck, but I would think you can make it the whole way here without pitting.
Ooh. That would be.
I mean, right now, if you're Ryan Traver, you're 9 seconds ahead. By the way, you can see our last lap times there on the right. You can see the ones that are pitting have the big lap times. Now you're 7 seconds up. You start to lift here a little bit and save some gas or get behind someone. This would be close. I'm not saying it's doable, but it's in the realm of possibility. If you're someone who's having a tough point season and you need to make a statement tonight, these are the kind of moves that help you make statements.
I think we've lost Dalton Geyer. Connectivity issue would be my guess, as he has dropped all the way down our running order, and he's gone. So I
just want to finish that thought for a second, though, real quick. Ryan Traver right now is 24th in points, about halfway through the season, Terry. When you're, and there he's pitting. So never mind. We'll just move on. No, but those are the kind of moves you have to make sometimes. You have to make those kind of calls and stick with them sometimes to make a moment. And even by staying out longer, your pit stop is shorter or you're not in traffic. But yeah, we're back to Alan Dice here. He'll probably suck back around to the lead in just a moment here.
Yeah, it depends on what Dylan Schmidt does. Schmidt is our final driver that ain't coming down this time. So the 92 will assume the race lead here in just a moment.
And I don't see too much damage on the back of that car. Remember, he got in the wall on the inside, I think, out of 2 at the beginning of this race. And towards after that, but I don't see any damage to speak of.
It's a good time to put yourself on a different cycle. He's got 5-second lead over Alan Dice. It's about 2-ish laps until we see that trek down, and it's under 5. But if you're Dylan Schmidt, I mean, why not? Why not hope that somebody on cold tires wrecks it? I like the strategy. I played it at Texas. It didn't work for me. I got cycled back to the back, but I got a decent finish at the end of it. But I like this. But you see here, Brendan Chatley pitted, 5 laps, 2 laps sooner than Alan Dice did. And so we'll see, can Dallas Sullivan, Brendan Chatley hold on and get this decent spot?
Alan Dice back down pit road, but no, I guess not. Sorry. He went out of frame and I made an assumption there. No, I apologize. He's still on track.
And you see them side by side there, Chatley and Sullivan. I still don't understand why he's doing that. They're racing side by side behind him. I don't know why he decided to take it down that low. All you're doing right at this moment is just scrubbing.
Yeah, that's what I said earlier. I don't get it. But get Dallas Sullivan on your screen here, the 46. Of course, he had that tough week last week at New Hampshire, and so I caught up with him before the race. I was like, hey, you had your worst run of the season so far. What are your thoughts? And I just got 2 words: do better. That's all I got out of Dallas Sullivan about his thoughts for the rest of the season was do better.
I like that. Do more gooder. I like that.
I don't think that's the same quote.
It's close. Do more gooder. Be better. Like I always tell people, don't be sorry, be better.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So we're more than halfway through here, and I think so. Now we're starting to see those gaps open up. When I talked to Easter Day, ironically about this, the race, he said, he thought this would be a bunch of smaller packs racing together, and that's what we're seeing here. Is we're not seeing that one. He's had a history of bump drafting down in the corners. He's lifting, thank goodness, because you don't want to bump draft in the corners here.
Interesting out in the chat. Austin Hunter's mom answered the question on why Austin was in the back breaking the draft from the back of the pack in 10th with nobody around him. And she said Austin is practicing from when he needs to break the draft. So maybe mom's out there force shadowing. Old Mama Hunter knows something we don't know. And is trying to figure it out. But yeah, look at Dylan Schmidt. I mean, he's fallen. Now,
this is where it gets to be dangerous, by the way. Just real quick for everyone trying to get around Dylan Schmidt, because you're on newer tires. He's not. The speed difference is big. The closing rate is big. This is where it gets dangerous for me.
Well, I mean, he's sitting 7th, hoping for a caution.
And no, I'm not saying that against Dylan Schmidt. I'm not saying it's about him specifically.
Oh, but Steve's catching him quick.
Yeah, I'm just saying that idea of tires and everything makes these passes scary, regardless of who the driver is.
We'll see what Dylan Schmidt does there in the 9th place position, as he does have a pretty substantial lead over Brett Adams in 10th. So this would be lap 27 on the tires for the 92 of Dylan Schmidt. The battle for the race lead has heated up just a little bit. Alan Dice almost popped the wall off the one. That got pretty hairy there for a second as they come to the back straightaway. But Dallas Sullivan's starting to hound him a little bit. And Brendan Chatley's starting to hound him just a little bit too. Karakoff has worked his way back into this picture, as it looked like Chatley almost lost it off of the tunnel turn. But all of these drivers have one goal in mind: win. They don't want to go to Richmond next week with a bad points day. They don't want to harm themselves in their potential chance to win a race. And I hear we might be making an announcement for the PRL at some point in time this week or next week about what we'll do with a bunch of winners. But the lap truck's down at the bottom as Schmidt finally comes down pit lane. He banked on a caution and it did not come out. It's all in the hands right now of the 5 machine of Alan Dice. Can he hold Sullivan off as they all start snaking down the short chute here?
Yeah, and the funny thing, we saw Dice get really tight out of turn 1 last time, almost hit the wall. But the funny thing was, Alan Dice told me his toughest turn of the track, Terry, is right here, the tunnel turn. He says that's his least favorite turn, the one he has the hardest time at. But that's not where he almost hit the wall last time.
The tunnel turn does kind of present its own little challenge.
Oh, it really does.
Well, because you think you could take it. You think you can take it wide open. And we'll look at Barney the Flag Man, and they're just doing whatever now.
See, this is where I'm having a hard time processing, and I don't know what I'm not wrapping my head around. If Dice and Sullivan want to go to the inside, then Chatley, Karakoff, McGarvey, and these other guys stay to the outside. Their line is longer. I don't understand why that. If they would stay in line, my super speedway logic tells me they should close that gap.
No, you just take logic and throw it out the window. We'll go on board here with the number 46 machine at Ford F-150. We'll take a look at Alan Dice, and he's snaking with him.
Now, what we're seeing here, and we've not talked about it yet tonight. Of course, we have a whole nother race to go with the Xfinity cars, Terry. Is that this is not obviously a single groove racetrack. Watch the difference here between Dice and Sullivan here through these corners. They're about even here through 1. Sullivan's a little lower. But notice out of 3, they took different lines in that corner. So you can make up time by finding somewhere you're comfortable and fast at. And we're going to see the tunnel turn real quick here before we move on. So that's a lap around. Let's see what's happening behind him here, Terry.
Oh, a lot. Cody Atkins, Chatley, Palumbo, Karakoff, all was right here under a blanket. There's Steve Loving in the number 27, trying to get into this mix as well. This is the battle for the 5th place position. There for a while, your top 5 was right on top of each other, and now it's a drag race to the line. Karakoff will hold it for the moment. But it's a 4-car battle, or 4-truck battle. That'll be 2 by 2 as they go into 1. Atkins looked at the outsides, not going to make that thing work. Now Palumbo holds this bottom lane. He'll slide up in front of Karakoff. You're not clear. Don't go up.
Of course, this is a track we've seen many memorable finishes at, Terry, and many memorable wrecks at, unfortunately, throughout the years at Pocono. Would it be the Steve Park wreck in 2001 or 2? I think, where they went tumbling over the wall. We've seen a lot of unfortunate wrecks here that have led to different winners. I mean, in NASCAR and other series, we've seen a lot of horrible wrecks here. And it's just because of how hard it is to judge the distance in these corners, with each corner being a different, banking, different size, different length. It's hard to kind of get that muscle memory lined up here, Terry.
We see Atkins there looking we're adding another driver into this fight, who I believe is that Brett Adams right there. That is the lap down machine, Edward Peltz, who did come down pit lane a little bit after some of these drivers. So lap down cars starting to mingle up here with the lead lap in the top 5. Palumbo looks to the inside in the tunnel turn. Is going to make that work on Karakov. He'll slide in now. Loving is going to work his way. Oh, Karakov almost slid on the nose of the 27. That could have been big. And this might be a, knock on wood, a caution-free race.
It does look that way, honestly. And realistically, if it isn't, we're almost to the point where the yellow flag comes darn near close to ending the race at this point, Terry, because of the timer. Because at 2 minutes a lap times 3 laps, that's 6 minutes here. So if they don't wreck it here soon, then that yellow, if it does happen, will just put Alan Dice in victory road.
We're going to go back here with a Macy. This is 15. You got the 11 of Hillman, a Macy. You'll also throw in Goff and Kirby. That'll be the 4 drivers that are fighting as the 11 of Hillman start to stretch it out just a little bit. Now it's a 3-car fight for the 16th position. There's battles all over the racing surface here. You go back up here to this battle. This is the battle still for the 5th place position. There's Karakov. You still got Palumbo, who's starting to pull away a little bit. He almost caught the wall off the exit of the corner. All these drivers are still trying to work it out. It's Karakov on the long run, Derek. Not as good as he is on that short run.
No, and that's a pretty common thing we'll see across, iRacing and sim racing as a whole, is that you have drivers who are good at one or the other. There are some who are great at both, and those are the guys who typically become your pro drivers. But some guys are really great. You just go out there and you're pedal to the floor. You're making the corners, you're passing people, you're being aggressive, but darn it, 10 laps in, they all come back around to you. And there's other guys who are patient. It's a skill. Which one do you think you want to be better at? Oh, save it. That is a great save.
That was a good save. That was a really, really good save. I
didn't see who it was.
I believe it was Karakov.
That does seem to track with the lost spots. And if we could find that, I want to point out what happens. Hopefully the best way to save a truck usually, Terry, is counterintuitive. It's Goff. Okay. The best way to save a truck or a car in iRacing is to get off the gas. The instinct you have as a driver for some reason is to smash the gas pedal when the car's getting loose. That's the worst thing to do when the car's coming around on you.
We got a battle going on right now for second with McGarvey and Sullivan. That fight's happening right there in front, going into the corner. They've swapped positions 2 or 3 times in this run, and now the fight is over because McGarvey got around. You got the 25 of Palumbo trying to catch Brendan Chatley here for 4th. You talked about if the caution was to come out, that this race would definitely be over. So we'll take a look here. That's Goff in the 85. These cars start to look the same. Oh, he just washed up. And that almost took a lot of good trucks out of this thing. But like you talked about, if the caution comes out now, this race is official. So we'll see if we can keep it green wire to wire. And if the truckers kept it clean, Derek, I expect we might call 2 caution-free races tonight.
Very well. And you know what? There's one driver. I'll give you a guess. There's one driver who's begging for the yellow. Who is it?
I would bet Alan Dice.
Oh, I'm sure it's Alan Dice. Yeah, he's hoping to, I guess you say to roll the dice and let the yellow come out.
That's a good one. I think if the caution is going to, if the caution is going to come out, I think I'm looking at the pack where the caution might be. All right, it's this pack right here. You got Palumbo, Chatley, Loving, Adkins, all on top of each other, and this would definitely be an awful ending to one of these drivers' nights if something was to happen and occur here with 5 minutes to go. Adkins washes up into Chatley. Chatley's gonna keep it off the wall. That almost did it. It was almost what one driver in this field was looking for. But man, we're 17 to 19 laps into this stint for a lot of these drivers. I'm almost positive that none of them expected to go caution-free here tonight.
No. There was a lot of talk tonight about, would there be a caution when I talked to some of the drivers. But a quick shout-out, by the way, to 4th and 5th, Hayden Palumbo and Steve Loving, the 25 and the 27. Those guys, I think, are, 12th and 14th in points right now? This is going to be a good run for those guys. And your top three are your top three in points, maybe in a different order. But for Palumbo and Loving to get 4th and 5th in this race, if that's where they finish, that'll be a solid points night to help them along.
Yeah, and with Steve Loving having a win this season, he had to miss a couple races, so they kind of put him out of the championship running and getting caught up in a wreck or two, and then he got the win. He's going to look in here for 4th. He'll go to the inside, 25-27, fighting it out. I'd imagine if you're Steve Loving,
hello.
Well, I don't think he wanted to see. I don't think he wanted to see what was in his mirror, and I don't think Atkins wanted to see what was at the windshield.
That was Hayden Palumbo, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, that was Hayden Palumbo.
Man, if you're Loving, I think you're kind of kicking yourself that you weren't here all season, because he's been a contender in every one of them.
Now, I know you made a comment about 37 minutes ago now, and said, "Oh, they were just too wide." Well, I'm telling you right now, this pack for 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, probably, they could finish 5 wide trying to get a spot here on the white flag lap. So that's something to look forward to. They might finish more wide than they started.
Well, we'll find out. I mean, we're coming down to 3 minutes to go when Alan Dice crosses his start-finish line. Caution flag ends it. We know we're going to race it perfect.
Hello.
His big wall hit right there. Believe that was Cody Atkins that just popped the mess out of the wall, and he worked really hard to get around Palumbo, and Palumbo might not have to work that hard if he smacks the wall again to get around. But Steve Loving has caught Dallas Sullivan. This could be a top 3 finish. If Steve is able to get around the number 46, he's right there, and 2 minutes and 30 seconds to go. We only got roughly 2 laps will be left on this board.
So we're gonna ride on board here and see what's going to Steve Loving trying to run down Dallas Sullivan. Let's see if he takes different lines and start to make the peak. Nope.
Oh, Steve, don't like being blocked, Dallas. You might want to learn that.
Dallas is trying all he can to make that truck as wide as possible by blocking, and now we're going to come up with some lap traffic here. Is this lap traffic or is this?
Yeah, it's Colton Easterday.
That's Easterday. Yeah, okay. So to me, that was Loving's biggest shot right there, Terry, was to be up on Dallas Sullivan when they got to that traffic and create panic almost. So probably 2 laps at the line there.
Yeah, but they've caught back up to McGarvey as well. So this ought to be entertaining to see. It'll be a 3-way, make that 4-way fight for 2nd if they can just make up 3-ish tenths on the number 77 machine. Oh, there goes Loving. He's gonna look to the inside of the tunnel turn. Sullivan couldn't make a block fast enough in that instance, but Loving's gonna
try the crossover. Nope, hold on.
Loving just sent it up there. It's good racing.
This is great racing, Terry. They're going to come around to the white flag this time. Now we're seeing someone else. That's the 81. That's Cody Atkins going to try to get up under Sullivan here in turns 3.
White flags in the air. Alan Dice, 1 lap to go around this beautiful Pocono Raceway. The fight for 2nd is the fight we'll look at. Alan Dice is, he's kind of rolled it perfect. And he finds himself in the lead. Now it's the battle for 4th. That's Atkins and Sullivan. Every spot matters based off of points. You don't want to leave it here on the table. No fight in the mirror or in the windshield for Alan Dice. No fight in the mirror as well. They'll come through the tunnel turn for the final time. Allardyce is in 3 and 4 as you see this fight there. Adkins almost gets to the back bumper of the 46 of Dallas Sullivan. But we'll see it here. Checkered flag waves off for turn 4 or turn 5. Down the long pond, straight away. Allardyce gets it done at Pocono, and it's a drag race. The line silent with contact. Adkins got it for 4th. Yeah. That was cool.
That was cool. We got some more battles coming on. This is going to be the battle for P15 coming off here out of 3. They'll finish that up pretty nicely. That's going to be Stephen Kirby and and Robert Go, who we saw have some issues earlier with getting loose. Wow, what a great race. Lots of small battles, lots of fun to look at, Terry, and a very clean race compared to what some were concerned about.
Yeah. That was what I think we're going to see in the Xfinity series.
I actually disagree with you. We'll talk about that when we get to the next broadcast.
I think we're going to see it. I think we're going to see a fight between a couple drivers. We'll take a look at our finishing lineup. This is official. Alan Dice, Kevin McGarvey, Steve Loving, your top 3. We'll speak to them in the post-race. Atkins, Sullivan, Palumbo, Chatley, Kirikoff, Traver, and Shane, your top 10, Derek.
All right, picking up P11, Austin Hunter, then Baron Hilton, Zach Panzarella, 13, Brett Adams in 14th, Stephen Kirby, 15. We saw that there on the screen with Robert Goff behind him. Tom Massey, Stacy Hunter, Alex Hillman, and Timothy Emmanuel round out your top 20.
Go back here to 21st, CM Pennington, Ronald Overbay, Dylan Schmidt, who tried that strategy. It just didn't seem to work for him. I got Zachary Austin, Colton Easterday, 1 lap down for Regan Bogue Motorsports. I didn't mess it up this week, boys. Edward Peltz, Richard Pruitt, Dalton Geyer, Oliver Goff, Garrett Austin, your top 30. And I believe that rounded us out, yes, with Matthew Kirikoff setting your fastest time with that 54.964 on lap number 2. We'll get ready to grab our winner if he would join us. So, well, why not? Let's start with 3rd and work our way up. Derek, you got Steve Loving.
Well, Steve, a great run tonight. You made your way up to 3rd as the race was concluding. Tell me your thoughts on the race as a whole now that we're done.
It was tough. Everybody did a great job. I was trying to save tires as much as I could. If I had maybe 2 more laps, I think I could have picked off 2nd. But Alan did a great job. He was fast all night. Cody and I were able to link up and try to pair up and start slicing through. So Cody ran a hell of a race. But yeah, it was a good time.
So, of course, you missed the first race of the season, so now you're points racing and you have no drop left to use. Does that matter in how you race? Is that a thought, or are you just going out here and going for it every week?
Yeah, it's always a thought. You never have that free pass. So it's tough. I mean, every race counts. Personally, I don't like drop weeks, but in this case, I kind of need it. But hopefully I can try to keep it out of trouble. Anytime I see something that's a little hairy, I tend to get somewhat conservative and try to back out of it, give some extra space. And, you know, I'd rather finish 10th or 15th than last.
It's a good strategy. I like that strategy. Well, next week is Richmond for the trucks. What are your thoughts as we head into that small track as comparison to this track?
Home territory. I'm from Virginia, so I look forward to it. I like Richmond. Richmond always tends to deliver when it comes to trucks. It tends to have a lot of action and a lot of good tight racing. So hopefully we get a lot of green flag laps and everybody has a great time.
Awesome. Well, we'll see you next week, Steve. Good luck and good job tonight.
Yeah, real quick, I want to thank Love Racing for the support and you guys for the broadcast, and of course Charles for all the work that he does on the back end running this series for the league. So thanks, gentlemen.
You're very welcome. Have a good night. Well, that is the driver in P3 series. That is Steve Loving finishing off a great night here at Pocono.
We'll go ahead and grab Alan Dice, and, well, we'll keep the train rolling. Alan Dice is standing by with Derek Watson.
Alan, what a great run tonight. You had an amazing run, actually, and made some improvement on that point standings there. Only 6 points difference coming into tonight. So talk me through the race tonight. How'd you feel about it?
Yeah, I thought, I wasn't sure I could get that much of a gap. I was trying to to get out there. I even tried weaving down the front stretch like Matt was early on in the race. My big thing early was just kind of staying on him, and he was pushing it a little bit harder than he probably should have, I think. And it made it kind of rough for him later on, and I was able to get around. And then pit stop actually slid through my box a little bit, so I was nervous about that biting me, but I was able to cycle out in front and get the gap and maintain it, which is good.
So I had to put you on the spot a little bit. You and I talked pre-race, and the quote you gave me was, "The tunnel turn is your hardest turn. You get a little tight there." I saw you get really tight off of one and almost hit the wall. So do you want to rethink that comment, or are you still sticking with the tunnel turn?
Nah, still the tunnel turn. And to be honest, the last car I drove here was an Xfinity car. And through the tunnel turn, those things really are a lot tougher than this for sure. Yeah, turn one, I definitely made a mistake one time. So I'm with you, but man, that tunnel turn, you get side by side, it's tough.
It is. We were talking about it all night long. Well, next week is Richmond, where you'll race with all the guys and maybe be our points leader. We'll have to wait and see how that forms out. What are your thoughts on Richmond?
I love Richmond and Iowa. Drive very similar. I really like those two tracks. So similar deal, try to maintain the tires, race your own race, and let it come to you. So we'll try it again next week.
Awesome. Well, once again, congrats on the win tonight, and we'll see you next week.
All right, thanks, guys.
Thank you, Alan. Well, Terry, that is Alan Tice. I got your names mixed up. He finished P1 and is your winner here tonight at Pocono Raceway.
Well, I'll tell you what, I gave you first and third. I'll talk to the guy in second, who's Kevin McGarvey in the number 77 machine. And Kevin, you come home second. That was super, super cool. What'd you need to go run Alan down?
I needed a better trip on and off of pit road. I didn't gain. I lost some time there, and he kind of set sail there. And as you know, Alan's really good. You have to be near perfect to beat him when he's out front, and he was perfect again tonight. I just didn't have it.
Well, you go to Richmond next week, and no similarities, like none at all. What are you going to take away from Pocono to Richmond next week? That potentially might get you a win. I won't be here, so if you win, I will be a little upset.
I don't know. I'm not very good at Richmond. I'm just going to probably put a couple more practice hours in and just try my best and see where I end up. Do the best I can. Maybe just learn how to save tires a little bit. I felt like I did that pretty well tonight. But other than that, yeah, not much I could take from Pocono to Richmond. That's for sure.
Well, I know a guy that might be able to teach just a little bit if you want. I think his name is like Richard Regan Jr. or something. He's a pretty good teacher.
All right, I'll have to reach out to him. Thanks.
Kevin, congratulations on P2 tonight. We'll see you next week, buddy.
All right, thank you, sir. Have a good one.
You too. That's your top three right there. And, well, we're going to get ready to transition our focus. We're still at Pocono Raceway, but for this time, we'll be calling the NASCAR Xfinity Series right after we tell you that this is not Pocono. This is the most beautiful Richmond, my wife's home track. It will be next week, July 26th, 2023 at 8:30 Eastern Time. You'll catch Derek Watson. It'll be the person with the plan. It'll be up here calling this race, and I think it's Lorenzo Border that's with you next week. So join us next week for that. This will be for the trucks, and we'll be somewhere different for the Xfinity Series, but we'll switch focus. Now we'll talk here because they go to Road America next week. Then they go to Michigan, Indy Road Course, Watkins Glen, the Cup version before we end it all. August 23rd at the Daytona International Speedway. And then we'll take a look at our point standings as well, as we have so much time on our hands as the fight has kind of started to leave just a little bit here, Derek, as Richard Regan Jr. has extended the points lead.
He really has. And of course, in that fight back from like second through fifth, Abner Acosta, Adam Zemke, Ted Lowendick, Joey Tebben, Thomas Sink. But listen, all it takes is one off night for Richard Regan. Maybe it's a road course where Tebben and Lowendick really excel, or all the road courses. And this is not over. This is the most interesting schedule I can think of because of that. But let's take a look at the team standings as well here. Now we got Regan Bogue. We both got grilled last week, by the way, because we kept calling it wrong, but it's Regan Bogue Motorsports. They are 10 points ahead of Atomic Racing TNT, then Precision 111, and on back from there, Terry. This is, I think, the closer battle all season long than the driver standings.
Yeah, this will be the close one with the road courses on the horizon. I would be remiss if we didn't talk about the fact that Atomic Racing TNT joined this series because of the road racing style that would go on here. But we're going to do something different. We're going to do something just a little bit different here tonight. So since I'm not going to be here next week, we're gonna enjoy Derek a lot more in this one, where I'm going to pass the baton to him. And Derek, the show's yours, buddy.
Right. Well, let's get ready for some exciting action at Pocono here in Xfinity Cars. Now, I'll start this topic with where we ended on the truck broadcast, same broadcast, but if you will, where we ended trucks. You and I have a different opinions on this Xfinity race. To me, the Xfinity cars are probably the loosest oval cars we race on the service. I think these cars are going to have a very hard time around this track. I suspect this race will be a little less clean than the truck race. What are your thoughts?
I think with the level of talent that's in this field, you take a look right here at Colton Lane. You got Richard. I mean, we had a little bit of an Abner issue as well. Okay, Colton. He smokes the wall. You take a look at Mike Witt in the 88. But I honestly think that this right here is going to be a really good race. I think we might do 2 caution-free races. And I called 1 caution-free. You're going to call this one caution-free.
Fair enough. I hope we are. I really do. I just suspect that with how loose these cars can get, and this is probably the more likely. The trucks are, overall, I think a simpler vehicle to race here at this track. But we're going to watch Mike Witt come down here into turn number 3. This is the Milwaukee mile corner here. Nice control there. Rode the yellow line, and now it's going to track it out. Good job there. In a minute, we'll get some overlays and some timing for you guys. We're just swapping things over from our truck race. But Terry, that Hellman scheme, that brings happiness to me when I see it.
Yeah, it takes us back to the Dale Earnhardt Jr. days, and obviously he ran this scheme in the NASCAR Xfinity Series in his start last season, which was really, really cool to see Junior racing, as he'll be running the Bass Pro Shop colors this season when he races at the Bristol Motor Speedway a little bit later on. But through the tunnel turn, I was talking to a lot of the teammates of mine over at Whataback, and they all said that you get really, really loose, as we saw right there with Mike Witt, through that corner, but that you're able to throw this car in just a little bit deeper. You're able to hang it out on the razor's edge. A sleepy pick, and I'll say this for a sneaky top 3 finish here tonight, Mark Kalin. Mark Kalin in the 62 tonight, he was actually good. I don't say that in a bad way. Sorry, Mark, I love you to death. But he was pretty good in an official race until he got wrecked out. But he was getting some spot and some coaching tips from Richard Regan Jr. This afternoon. And I honestly think that we'll see that 62 run up front for a majority of this race.
Yeah, we could. Now we're starting to see the leaderboard come to the left side of your screen here. Ted Lowendick holds the current pole here, that 54.524. Just ahead of Joey Tebben. Teammates. Oh, never mind. Starts to teammates at the top of the board, but Daniel Knight came in and stomped on that, Terry. And that is a wall.
Yeah, it's 72. That's Ted Lowendick, and he's a road course guy. So for Ted, I talked about this one in the truck race. This place races like a road course. I would not be surprised at all if the 72, who's been able to put a good bit of practice down with Joey Tebben. Look at Abner. He jumps to the top of the board as well. We take a look right here at the 11 of Brett Karakoff that touches the racetrack. He jumps up to 5th. A lot of drivers have a lot of experience. They'll go to the top of the board really fast, but here's the driver that we all need to look at in the 56, Richard Regan Jr.
Yep. Richard Regan, of course, your current points leader, and looking to put more points on the board. If he can take the pole here, of course, Terry, he'll get that extra bonus point on the standings. That is a not on pole lap. I missed the time. That was an out lap. Sorry. Okay. That's also what's on the board, but that's a great run here. Walk me through the corners here in Xfinity car, Terry. Where should he be corner by corner?
Well, you saw him right there in turns 1. You go all the way down. You want to paint that line. He swept it all the way out to the wall off the exit. He'll start his turn in start his braking right about there. He's already braking just a little bit, trailing it in. He gets all the way down. He'll sweep it back up. So right when he got to the center, he's trekking into the throttle. Not all the way. You don't want to mash it. You see him. He'll turn his entry. He'll roll the brake a little bit. He'll let it roll. He'll start to glide this thing. Don't want to get all the way to the bottom here. Trek it back out to the wall. That's the perfect exit off of turn 3 to put it down to the line. And that's a 54.323. That sets him third on lap number 1. So the pickup on lap 2 could be just a little bit better. He's done. He ain't gonna do it again. He'll start third. Potentially. Mike Knight's still out here.
Mike Knight, I think, just out here just cooling down a lap here.
He ain't gonna get one.
No, we are basically done. That's it. That is the end of qualifying. We'll wrap that up here at this beautiful Pocono Raceway. You can see the crowd is ready to go, and so are we. In just a moment now, we'll pull up your starting grid, and Terry and I will walk you through it. Let's start with Abner Acosta and Elliott White, Precision Racing teammates 1 and 2. Richard Regan over there in 3rd, Richard Regan Jr. with Thomas Sink in 4th. 5th is Colton Lane, and then 6th, Terry, is Daniel Knight.
Yeah, Ted Lowendick back there in 7th. Bradley Holly in the red, white, and blue Miracle Flow 184 starts 8th. Joey Tebben starts P9, and sneaky Mark Kalin. Keep an eye on that 10th place driver. I think he's going to go up there and contend for a top 5 with Matt Gagnon and Brett Karakoff around that top 12.
Pick up a 13th, your league admin, Charles Sumner, with Adam Zimke on the outside, and Jim Westerfield and Doug Evans, 15, 16. And then Chad Kibbe and Nick Byers, 17th and 18th.
You go right there to 19th with Nicholas Hunter, Jeff Evans, Patrick Calgill, Mike Witt, Jacob Emery with a good qualifying run down there in 23rd with Mike Knight, not setting the time in there with Doyle Lawrence and Reese Bogue, and not able to qualify this week. They got a little wrist slap for being naughty last week.
Yeah, they did, and I think we had a chance to talk to Reese pre-race, and he was not happy. But, obviously has to follow the rules and do what is decided there. So that's going to be a long run for Reese. So, Terry, Xfinity cars, 50 minutes on the board when we go green. What are your keys to victory?
Well, the biggest key to victory is keeping the thing under you. You don't want to scrub the tires off of it. You don't want to get as loose in the corners, but you have to keep this thing trekked out just a little bit, able to you gotta get around here fast. Loose is fast, but keep all the discipline in you. 2, don't mess up the pit strategy. That extra lap, the lap and a half, that 2 laps could potentially cost you a win. Don't be aggressive. I think that's going to be the most notable thing. And speaking of aggressive, Danny Cervantes is not in this field here tonight. So missing Pocono. And there was a bet going on of who would go 3 wide first, Cervantes or Bogue. I said both of them. I thought they'd both take it 3 wide at the same time. But Danny Knight in the field defaults to Reese.
It might default to Reese, but with Reese in the back of the field by himself, with that penalty of not allowed to qualify, it could, I don't know, we'll have to wait and see what happens. This beautiful 2.5 mile racetrack, easy for me to say, has hosted, of course, many races across the years. Has 2 road courses, by the way, Terry. We don't ever go to them in iRacing anymore. But 2 beautiful road courses there on the tunnel turn on the back end of this track. Let's see if we can get a shot of those real quick before we go green there. They connect together.
There they are.
There they are. What the new scan iRacing did of Pocono, a year ago, 2 years ago now, I can't remember, they did not rescan the road courses, so no one uses them anymore, I don't think.
They did not. It's part of the legacy package for Pocono if you want to use them. But interesting note, karts used to race out there, but hey, we're about to go green flag racing, Derek.
Our pace car is about to go down. Abner Acosta is going to lead this field. Acosta, Elliott White, 1 and 2. And green flag is out at Pocono. We enter 1 and 2, and your 3 wide bet has been lost, Terry Radford. I see it right there in the middle of that corner. That's not Reese Bogue.
Oh, it was his teammate. It was his teammate, Richard Regan Jr. and took it 3 wide, and the drivers in the back, Low and Dick, you had Holly, you had Gagnon, everybody was on top of each other back in the mid part of this field. Just inside the top 10, outside the top 10, battle for the lead. Richard Regan Jr. on the bottom, Abner Acosta to the outside. They're wheel-to-wheel for lap 1.
There they go, wheel-to-wheel outside turn 3 to the straightaway, and Regan will get the outside line and the preferred line. Now with that draft on the outside, Terry, he might find that help, but nope. Richard Regan leads lap 1 here at Pocono.
Yeah, teammates right there. That'll be second and third. But it's early in the race, and last week we saw Abner on lap 1 make a big mistake where he washed up and wrecked. He just flat out wrecked it, and he drove back up, was able to make it work, and that was in the Cup Series. Yeah, the Cup Series he made a mistake, but in here he's doing just fine. He's able to hold on, able to figure out the line that he needs to take, but don't want to race too early. You just kind of say, hey, look, I'm good. Richard messed up his qualifying lap, started third, was able to take this lead early. It has single filed its way out all the way back to Bradley Holly and Mark Kalin.
So I'm going to put you on the spot here a little bit, Terry. Talk to me as an analyst here. The one thing I noticed different about this race, we're not snaking. Is it a difference in the handling of the Xfinity car? Is it just the talent skill is different in the Xfinity cars? Why are we not snaking in this Xfinity car?
Well, I just think they knew that it pissed us off and we didn't like seeing it. So.
Oh, that could be. If that worked more often in life, you'd be surprised what would be different.
Yeah, no, you don't want to snake in these. It's a tire conservation thing. They're going to get the run. You understand that the draft is going to happen, but the way that these Xfinity cars work, the draft is a thing, but you also have to back it up more in the corner, and especially if it's the top 5, top 6, a lot of talent right there. I mean, Richard's leading it. You got Abner, Elliott, an NASCAR college driver, Lowendick, who's been one of the best in PRL on the road side of things, who's understood the Xfinity. You don't have to snake these things. This is not redacted car. You just have to get a good run, and you want to be patient. Save the tires. You'll start seeing the snake a little bit later on when it fans out 3 wide.
Fair enough. So we're going to watch the battle here with the 17 now going to the outside, and now we'll get back in line here out of turn 1. They're going to head down this right now. Terry, something unique about this track for me is your braking markers. There's no signboards here. There's no numbers. There's no countdown. It's cones. How hard is that for you as a driver to find those cones?
Well, I'm stupid, so it's very hard. That's why I don't like Pocono, because I miss the cones every time. As you see the 68 fighting it out right there. That's Mike Knight. And then you got P2 fighting in between teammates. But the cones are difficult, especially if you've got a driver to your outside. You kind of miss that point. And I know that's crazy to think that you would miss the point with the driver next to you, but you do. You miss it quite often as we go on board right here. That's with Mark Kalin.
So I think they were easy to see there for you, Terry, because we pointed them out. But let's see if we can stick with this for a second. This is going to bring us out.
Just wait for a driver to get in or outside of him. He ain't going to see them cones.
Watching ahead of you. You're watching the cars. You're watching the cars. There's a 3, by the way. Just that fast, it'll get right by you. It took me a long time as a driver to find the cones consistently here.
But you see what Mark did right there going into the tunnel turn. He waited all the way to that 1. See here, right here, he'll go past the 1. He'll start to see the Pocono sign. So you can kind of put yourself where the light sets on the side, where you start to get off of it a little bit. You're already starting to get the car to turn. You want the nose to plan as you're turning this car. So you'll lightly catch the brake with the gas still on. Here, right here. He's out of it. Brake, down, more brake. He missed it. Missed the corner completely right there because he was not backing it up. When you catch that draft down the front straightaway on the longest straight that NASCAR has, you just have to be able to get the nose planted and turned in. As you take a look right here, that allowed Daniel Knight to get to the inside in the 17. I think Mark might have also missed it. He might have been mirror driving there.
He might have been mirror driving. And the only thing I could think of as you went through that great analysis is, could him have being in the draft and having some extra speed in that corner affected where he was supposed to lift? Because obviously in the draft you have more speed She's supposed to lift probably a little sooner, but here you go. So coming around here about the 44.5-minute mark. Richard Regan has been the leader the whole time. Took it before the lap 1 marker over Abner Acosta and Elliott White. And right now, this is more the same from what we've seen all season, Terry, as far as the standings and the points.
Yeah, it has. It has been, same song, different track, and this is what we've seen consistently with the addition of Elliott White starting to come back up and put his name there. Colton Lane's doing a wonderful job. We saw him very early on in qualifying, actually the first car, to try to put a lap down, caught the outside wall. Riding in fourth, just holding on. And I would love to see Colton Lane put an entire race together. I think if this is one of the drivers that we circle that says, hey, look, if you could just be consistent from start to finish of a race, you're going to be phenomenal. As you take a look at Matt Gagnon and Jim Westerfield fighting for 12th.
Yeah, and I know earlier you had a chance to talk with Matt, right? What was his comments on this race?
Well, Matt was talking hugely about the personality, or personally, Pocono really hasn't been good to him. We races with a lot of talent here in the PRL. It's tough. He hopes to get a top 10, and right now sitting in 13th. That's pretty solid. But I mean, he said so far, all the races that he started beside the road course, they finished top 10. So this is kind of like the road. Maybe we'll see old Matt Gagnon figure it out.
And he makes a valid point, Terry. This is a lot of talent in this league, in this series, the Xfinity series, and all across PRL, right? Like there's a lot of talent here. If you ever stop and stare at the iRatings here, not that I think iRating is the ultimate judgment of your skill, but there's a lot of it to be found in this race. Oh yeah, I mean
I raced it last season, and I will personally tell you that it's tough. It's probably the toughest thing I've ever done in my life. Racing against these drivers, this is a more stacked field than what last season was. I know that's crazy to think. So take a look at Reese Bogue. He's on the inside of Chad Kibbe, trying to work his way through this field. He's already climbed up to 20. He's trying right now to get to 19th. And it's funny because talked to him a little earlier as well, Derek, and doesn't love Pocono. Had to start from the rear, hates the track, just trying to stay out of trouble. This could keep or kill his playoff chances if we can run it there. He's up 7 spots.
And you see the timing on the right side of your screen. It shows how many spots each driver's up and down. Of course, for every up, there has to be a down. But so far across the top, 15 or so, it's pretty small numbers. I mean, I think Jim Westerfield up 3 is one of the biggest gainers so far in that top 15. It's interesting to me, Terry, that a lot of drivers have that same opinion that they hate Pocono. Is it just because it's not a standard oval? Is it because of the different corners? Is it because of the size of the track? What do you think causes that disdain we see for Pocono Raceway?
Well, I think you hit it the nail right on the head in the first part of the question. It's a triangle. It is a completely different racetrack where you start this corner on a wide sweeping turn 1 that's got low speeds. It's wide, you can sweep it, but it's slow. Then you go into the tunnel turn where you have to burp it just a little bit to get the nose to plant. You see right here, I mean, it's very wide, but you have to run the bottom. You can't go to that outside, you'll miss it. And it just keeps going. It feels like you're in this corner forever. Then the moment you come down this short chute right here, you think, oh, okay, yeah, it's fine. You hit that tunnel turn, the nose has to be going straight. You want to hit this as straight as possible, as you'll see right here. As straight as you can get it on the end and get a straight exit off this corner once you trek it all the way up to the wall. And then you hit the shortest part of this racetrack before you go into an even more sweeping corner in turn 3. You can never get it figured out. Either you have too much brake bias in it, not enough, caution flag waves, and that's Mike Witt.
Wow, Mike Witt has looped it around here in that Hellman's machine, Terry, and that will put the caution out. So everybody down pit road is the obvious answer here. The question I have now, and we will have as this broadcast goes on, is will that be the only time we come down pit road? And by that, I don't mean if there's more yellows. I mean, if you pit here, you should be good, I would think. As a driver, though, it's too early to play any games, right? It's just good. This has got to be 4 tires. It's got to be gas. There's no playing games here with 2 tires, right?
I'm staying out. If I'm one of the drivers in the back of this field, as we take a look at the replay right here, we're just right there coming out of the tunnel turn and caught the wall. Oh, he came off the wall, and I believe he ran right into
The car with the front end damage on it? Yeah.
well,
that'd be
yeah,
good.
that sounds about right. I would believe it might have been Jake, the 15, a buyer. That's who it looked like. I'm staying out right here, Derek. In all honesty, if you're one of the drivers that's mid pack, you're banking on another caution. 5 laps is a lot on tires here, and if we get 1 in 5, they come down and pit. They're able to make up some track position.
Yeah, that's definitely a strategy. We'll wait and see here. I don't think pits opened. I think we just caught the pace car, so I think pits will open next time by. Of course, one of the changes to the iRacing service about, a year, maybe a year and a half ago now. Let's see this wreck again real quick. This is Mike Witt in front of us. We're on board with the 15. Mark Beyer. This tries to save it off the wall.
Oh!
And I'm going to guess if we could get the onboard of Mike Witt, what you'll probably hear him do, Terry, is probably playing with that throttle, trying to save the car. Oh, look, there's everybody, Terry.
Everybody came down. Somebody had to, should have played some strategy.
That is the color commentator curse of PRL this season. Everything that we say is a color commentator, Terry. They just they prove us wrong. Welcome to my world.
Well, yeah, it's been so long since I've sat over here in this spot on a Wednesday night. It kind of feels weird. I'm used to doing this with Joey, but you deserve an opportunity to showcase your talent on this one as the race off pit road was what we saw. And
look at that race.
We'll hopefully you'll be this role next week as the consistency to touch the board on the road course in Richmond.
Yeah, can we talk about how you're being a coward and leaving me behind on a road course? Like, no, don't leave me for Daytona, or don't leave me for Dega, or no, leave me for a road course. You coward.
We got what, 3 or 4 the whole season? We got so many.
I know.
Yeah, there's so many of them. I'll be here for the rest. You talked about the throttle. Yeah,
he's in it.
He's in it. He never
lifted.
He was committed. But no, I mean, we got all I'm missing is Road America. I've got Watkins Glen and Indy. I'll be back for Indy. I'll be back for Watkins Glen. Don't worry, I'll be back to finish out the season, and then
I know you will.
What happens after that happens after that.
And in fact, I know we'll be together Sunday night. In fact, here on Race Spot for the PRL Cup Series.
Yeah,
we're gonna be here for the 2-hour broadcast, roughly what it is, and we're calling the Cup races. We'll see some of these same guys, Terry. We'll see. I think Abner's in there.
You'll see Abner.
Bradley Holly, I think, is in both, right?
No, we'll see. Okay. We'll see Abner. And that's it. That is all that has transferred over from this one. I believe we'll see Nick Hunter. He'll be in our ear. Patrick Cowgill is over there. We'll see a couple names that translate over, but it's been Abner. We've got a couple new people over there that are starting to make some head waves, and it's the Trent Dinkle show on Sunday. Him and Abner are switching the points lead back and forth. Abner wrecked at New Hampshire Sunday, drove right back through the field, and actually finished second. So it's been a solid week there for the 5 of Abner.
All right, so we're going to go green this time by. Restart rules, of course, in effect here. But now we've had about 15 minutes to kind of test out the cars and learn what they do, Terry. So what do you think we could see different in this second run than we didn't see on the first start?
We're going to start snaking. No, I'm just kidding.
I hate you.
No, I think right now, if you're any of these drivers, especially that are in the middle of this field, you have to get aggressive on this restart. You need to go. If you don't take advantage of this restart, what did you do? You're just following the leader. You need to make track position up right now. If you're Matt Gagnon, if you're Tebben, if you're Westerfield, Karakov, Charles Sumner, Jeff Evans. Why is Jeff Evans outside the top 15? you've been consistent all season long. Doug Evans is the same thing. Why are you outside the top 15 right now? Get aggressive, take it to the outside, take it to the inside, make some use out of these tires.
Yeah, well, we're going to see if Abner Acosta learned on the start how to get around here and take the lead as we about to go green here once again. You see Barney the flagman, the bottom right of your screen. Pace cars down. Richard Regan will lead him around. Green flag is back in the air at Pocono.
Yeah, Richard got a massive launch right there. Colton Lane got in the back bumper of the 5 of Acosta. You see it right there. People trying to jump to the bottom lane. No 3 wide, shockingly enough, as Abner washes up just a little bit into 1 and allows Elliott White to get underneath for second.
So you got teammates side by side down this straightaway here. And they're going to both try to run down Richard Regan here. Looks like they've got it lined up here from what you can tell that camera shot. Yep, Abner's first, and Elliott second, and they're lined second and third overall. Now the question is, can they work together, Terry, and run down Richard Regan, or will Elliott's desire to get some points ruin that run?
I think Abner's going to have to. Abner's going to have to keep winning. He's going to have to go tit for tat with Richard. Oh, car in the wall, hard in the outside. That car goes. That looked to be Kibbe, Chad Kibbe.
Okay.
Kibbe in the wall back there with fell back behind Mike Witt. We'll take a look at the replay here in just a second. You should take a look at this battle. Matt Gagnon, Joey Tebben, Karakoff, all under a blanket. That's for the 10th place position.
You know, what's interesting is there's Joey in 10th, Matt Gagnon right behind him, who wanted to get a top 10 this week. You know, we've had a lot of fun at Joey Tebben's expense. Hold on, let's move this wreck here.
Committed.
Ooh. Yep. Overall, not that bad. I mean, it lifted the car up a little bit, which is scary, but kept it pretty well under control, all things considered. I was going to say, we've had a lot of fun with Joey Tebben this season, but 10th place is like almost the worst he's been in an Xfinity race this season, Terry.
Just rub it in. Just rub it in that he's having a way better season than I did last year. I think he rubbed it in last week, where he talked about, you know, his best finish compared to mine. But then I rubbed it in. I said, well, you know, you haven't led 14 laps in the PRL, so take that, Joey.
And
but now,
his comment back last week in our private meeting was, I bet they were all under yellow.
That's exactly what he said. I mean, I love Joey Tebben. I think the world of him. I mean, not only is he a good friend, he's a tremendous broadcaster. He's just a great teacher. He's a student of everything that he does. And there isn't a person that I've worked with when I first got over here at RaceSpot that was just willing to teach me how to be a better person on a broadcast, how to be smarter with what I said than Joey. And it's good to see him having a good run. I'm glad that, you know, maybe he took a little bit of a page out of my book and was like, hey, let's swap seats. You come back, let me go over here and do this. And I hope he comes back and does the broadcast next season to share his insight of what it was like running up front with a lot of these drivers. I know how to call it from the back of the field. I guess you can call me Kyle Petty. He might be at the Kevin Harvick of the booth next year.
Yeah, he might be more of Kyle Busch.
Ah, well, yeah. He ain't winning that much.
No, he's not. Yeah, he's under attack here from the 11 car. He's going to get pushed to the outside of this corner here, and I don't think they're going to make the pass here. But that's Brett Karakoff trying to run down Joey Tebben here. Matt Gagnon behind him with Adam Zimke back there. Yellow. Caution is out again. That's the 35. That's Jim Westerfield.
No.
And I think I see more ahead of that. Oh, no.
Doug Evans is in it as well.
That
with
is
Mike
out of turn
Knight.
3.
Mike Knight, Doug Evans, Westerfield all collected in caution number 2.
And you know, the interesting thing, Terry, before we see the replay, that's our first trouble we've really seen out of turn 3 in either race so far. But everything's been in 1 and 2 so far.
Well, that stinks right there for Doug. He was already having an awful night, and bad goes to worse. And it's the same thing for Jim Westerfield. Just take a look at the replay. Oh,
swept up.
my, caught the grass and Doug, nowhere to go. Thought he had it clear. Into the wall. That's tough.
That is tough for a lot of reasons, and honestly, the one that's the toughest for many reasons is that green car we saw get hit on the bottom, Terry. That's the 41 because he thought he had that cleared. I'm positive you can see it, especially if you're going to single monitor view on iRacing. Watch this here. I got it. Oh, okay, they're wrecking. I got it. I'm clear. I'm clear. I'm clear.
Bam.
Oh, that is the most disappointing feeling you can have as a driver because when you sit back and you watch the replay of a race, Terry, there's nothing you can. There's no coachable moment. Did he not have a hood? That must be a graphical thing, or not, is that just a paint color? Am I having a moment here, Terry Radford?
That's paint
okay.
color.
All right, sorry. I don't know why when it went by the first time, I looked blank. I was like, "Whoa, what's happened there?" But no, as a driver, that's a hard coachable moment, right?
Yeah, I mean,
there's nothing you can tell yourself besides don't be there.
I can think multiple times racing on the platform. I mean, I have 10 wins. Most of them has come on a super speedway. Like that's my bread and butter is understanding, what line to put myself in. And the older you get, and I say this to wrap the point back to what you asked, the older you get, the more you lose awareness around you. And it's something Junior was talking about on the Dale Jr. download. You lose that focus. You don't pay attention to what's to the outside. And I don't think he saw or realized that Westerfield was coming down.
Back down. No, not at all.
And that's when I know he has triple monitors. He helped me set mine up. That's when you just take a look over for a second and go, all right, he's coming down. He can't get any lower. And you remember that? You remember that strategy?
Right,
remember that strategy Terry was talking about?
Are you telling me Terry knows what he was talking about? Is that what you're going to say to me?
Yes. 7 laps make a massive difference. 5 laps make a massive difference. The top 10 stays out on the racetrack. But, let's throw the but in there. Look at all the drivers that came down. Bradley Holly searching for his first win in 2 seasons on Wednesday night in the Xfinity Series. Joey looking for his first win in the NASCAR side of things. He has a win in the PRL. Colton Lane looking for the first for a first win. We did Thomas Doyle Lawrence 2-tire pit stop. So that's going to be a challenge. I like that paint scheme. You'll eNASCAR. You know what my favorite thing about eNASCAR is, don't you, Derek?
The Wendy's and the Coca-Cola.
Perfect. I like it. You know what he has on the hood, and it's a good segue. And I'll get in trouble. I don't care. He has the eNASCAR qualifying iRacing series on the hood of the number 9 for Doyle Lawrence. And if you want to catch the top 2 splits, the stake splits that's happening this week from right here at Pocono, you can watch Top Split on FTF. You can watch the second split on Fireball Talks NASCAR, FTN, and LSR TV. It is simulcasted at 9 Eastern Standard Time on both of them. You can see who's the drivers that could potentially work their way into the eNASCAR Coca-Cola iRacing Series, which Coke is the official fan refreshment of, by the way. Who's going to race their way into $300,000, but who's going to race their way to Contender, because Contender is going to be fun. And I believe, Doyle pits one more time. I don't think he wanted to take 2 tires. I think he realized he didn't want 2 tires.
Yeah. I was actually wondering with that pit stop time, it may have only been gas only. I was trying to figure out if we saw him up on the jacks. That could have been gas only the first time, because it was like a 5.9, I think it was. Alternatively, if you want to watch PRL tomorrow night, Justin Prince and I are here at 9:30 Eastern Time with the F3 cars at Hungaroring. Justin Prince will be your lead commentator. I will be doing color, and I need to do a lot of research tomorrow about Hungaroring. What do you know about Hungaroring, Terry Bradford? Can you help me out at all?
Turns left and right.
Thanks. That's what I got so far.
That's all I got. That's all I got for you. I don't know how to tell you this. I'm not the road guy over here.
That I know. Trust me. We did an F3 race last season, right? And it was kind of scary.
Yeah, it was pretty. Well, they trusted me with it, and it was fun. I mean, that was a track that I definitely have some love for. But Hungaroring's going to be fun. I can't wait to watch. I know I will be tuned in while I'm calling second split for the eNASCAR qualifying series. Yeah, it's going to be entertaining to say the least. And I hear that World of Outlaws is giving 50% off memberships for iRacing. So
Yeah.
if you want to
try it out, race with us next season.
Yeah, iRacing.com, your portal to the world. 40 or 50% off if you use promo code WOO.
Not like a Ric Flair woo, but more like
Exactly.
a World of Outlaws woo.
Ric Flair woo.
Woo. All right, well, here we go. Speaking of woo, let's get it lined up again and ready to go here at Pocono. And at any second now, Barney the flagman will put the green flag out, and we'll pick back up the speeds here. We got a car way down on the bottom, Terry Bradford. That Jeff Evans backing out? Oh, there he is.
Yeah. Jeff is a very intelligent individual who probably understood that he was going to blink and that would have caused a caution. Jeff backed out of it. He's not willing to put anybody else at risk. As you see, he is well behind the field. And you remember what I said to start the show, Mark? What in the blank are you doing? As Mark Kalin slides up across the nose of Ted Lowendick to take that fourth place position, I told you, sneaky 62. Put your money on the 62.
See more side-by-side action happening here through turn number 3. They're going to come out of here. Still too wide. You know, Terry, something you kind of joked about in the start, it happened once, but it's really only been 2 wide here. We're not seeing a lot of 3 wides or more on a track that is more than capable of holding 3 wides. But look how fast this race mostly single files out. Right now, we're looking ahead of us here. This is Mark Kalin. That's going to be your 4th place racer. You got, that's not Mark Kalin. That's a 60. That's not Mark Kalin. I'm sorry. Yeah, so sorry, this is not Mark Kalin. But look how fast ahead of him it is single filed out with Charles Sumner right behind him. And it's just something unique to me about this track. And I thought Sumner was going to make the move out of the short shoot there, Terry.
Well, he's going to make the move here. He'll make the move down the short shoot into turn 3. That's on Reese Bogue for 8th. Fresh tires starting to pay off a little bit. Pitted 3 laps ago, they were under caution. So brand new sticker tires versus 7-lap actual green flag tires that we're seeing going on here. You have to still have speed. You can have tires, but you can still be stupid. You can quote me on that one down the road. Just because you have tires that make you fast, you can still be dumb as, oh, we almost saw the driver right there. I lost track of who that one was. It was right under Charles Sumner. It was, believe that was the 184. Bradley Holly or Mike Knight almost lost control of that thing, and it made Charles Sumner back out of it. He's going to get under attack from Joey Tebbin for 13th. Wow.
Wow, indeed. What a race we're having here. And I think that was the 184 that you saw with that moment, that scary, scary moment here at Pocono. Of course, this is a beautiful track built a long time ago. Built back, I think it opened in the 70s, if I recall right. Terry Radford's hosted all kinds of races here. NASCAR, Xfinity, the trucks, the Cup. You know, I wouldn't talk about it much, but IRL stuff, and, you know, has been here many times. So this is a track that is, it has great racing no matter what car you put on it. I mean, the SCCA runs here sometimes. This track gets well used all year long.
Yeah, I mean, it absolutely does. And we talked about the road courses on the inside of this. The karting guys used to come out here and race that quite a bit. As Patrick Cowgill goes up to 13th. And interesting, he said he had a love-hate relationship for this place a little earlier on. And I was actually talking to him in the Whataback Discord outside of Derek's conversation, as you see Reese Bogue here under attack from Daniel Knight and Thomas Zink. But Patrick talked about he could never figure out turn 1. I get you, Patrick. I get you 100%. a lot of people used to race this on NR 2003, which I still don't know how to get a part of that game. It looks fun, but
can we talk real quick? Yeah, about that. You mentioned a comment earlier about how long turn 1 is.
It's long.
Our producer Dustin Aldis changed that shot as they were entering turn 1.
Yeah.
And look how long it took them to get out of turn 1 here. I want to bring that full circle on a great shot that wasn't planned there to really hit your point home earlier. How long turn 1 is right there.
Look
Here's
how long turn 3 is. Yeah. They were just entering 3. These corners are sweeping. That's why I hate this track so much. I love watching races here because it brings out the strategy. It brings it all out in full circle. As you look at Colton Lane going on Matt Gagnon here for 6th. Tires versus no tires. But when you race on this track, it is so difficult. It is the most challenging time you will ever do on a quote-unquote oval, because you have to work 2-3 different ends of the track. If you fasten the tunnel turn, you suck in 1.
Yep.
If you suck in the tunnel turn, you're great in turn 3. If you're great in turn 3, you suck somewhere else. You could never get 3 perfect corners.
In any game or simulator you can think of, Terry, whether it be, NASCAR 2003 or the original Papyrus NASCAR, whether it be NASCAR Thunder 2003 for the consoles, this is the track I've never quite... Look at that bump draft. This is the track I've never quite understood. I sort of say a love-hate relationship with this track, but the love is sort of hard to find with this track. Whoa, look at that. That's Daniel Knight all the way down to the yellow lines here. You saw that car wiggle around a little bit. The yellow line here, you don't want to be down there, right?
No, not below it. Maybe in the tunnel turn you can kind of cut it a little bit, but not in turn 1 and 2, or turn 1.
Yeah, I mean, you say turn... Oh, hold on, Daniel Knight here to the inside of the 4. A great run out before it hits the wall. They're going to contact, but they're going to be okay. That was a great save by everybody involved. I'm not sure Daniel Knight knew, Terry, how close he was to... hold on.
Oh, he's getting closer.
Yeah, he may not still know how close he is to pure calamity here. That's a great run out of turn 2 and 3 for those cars.
Well, you don't want to make RaceSpoke mad.
And you probably did by not letting him qualify, right?
Well... I don't know.
Nice pass there.
He did that to himself, and that was
again Daniel Knight. Sorry to cut you off. I apologize, but again, Daniel Knight was down on that line, and you almost saw the car almost coming around on him. I thought.
Well, Derek, you're the lead. You can do whatever you want. I'm just the smelly color over
dance,
here.
Monkey, dance.
Calling this, yeah. But you talk about the run off the exit of the corner. This is one of the racetracks that we talked about this on the trucks. Momentum is key. I watched RaceSpoke sail it into turn 1, and he was able to make it stick. He was probably about a foot to 2 feet above where the braking zone would have been, and was able to drive it deeper into the corner than what Daniel Knight was able to. The exit of the corner, he still got a good run. He was able to drive in deeper, back the corner up, get a better exit because he was able to mash the throttle, but the 17 couldn't. As you take a look right here, Bradley Holly, he almost got a run there. It looks like he's trying to push that 17 past the 4. He knows he's holding him up. They're actually losing a ton of time to Thomas Sink.
They are losing a ton of time, and that was really, in a way, that was me seeing Bradley Holly trying to make something happen. You push those guys side by side, and maybe they make a mistake, and Bradley Holly gets a move. But hold on!
Oh,
that's
my
a big
gosh!
Bump to RaceSpoke.
Caution flag.
We got a caution. We got a wreck. I didn't see that. Sorry, that is Doyle Lawrence. That is our third. By the way, that is our. I want to count them out for you, Terry. 1, 2, 3. That's our third caution of the night.
Well, I'm blaming you.
Oh, no.
Nope, that's what the color does. He deflects to the lead. So I'm blaming you.
I'm pretty sure you have a color guy who takes his own responsibility. I'm just saying.
Nah, I'm blaming you. I'm not that color guy. I blame the lead. You take a look right here at Noah Lawrence. So what happened to him? He'll come down through the tunnel. Oh, and Bayer caught the wall. and nowhere for Doyle to go.
So, talk a little bit about track awareness, though, Terry, in the sense of when you see the car in front of you tracking out like that, with 14 minutes left in a race,
There ain't nothing he could done.
You don't think you wouldn't lift there? Okay.
There ain't nothing you're doing at that moment because you don't think they're going to hit the wall. You think that they're going to save it.
And maybe shoot it to the inside.
Yeah, you think that they're going to save it and keep it up on the wall. But you see right here with Beyer, I mean, Doyle was right there. He tracks it out. Doyle was actually about a lane lower than Beyer, and that's a tough hit. But you think for sure that when he's up that high, he went a lane lower, about a lane to a half a lane lower, was hoping that if he checked up right there, he was able to keep it. But when he didn't see him hit the wall and he hit it a little bit later off the exit, you're going behind him. You're going to follow behind him because you think that run's going to be great.
All right, Terry Radford, put you in the spot. Who pits?
Nobody.
Oh, here comes your leader.
He's faking. Oh, he's not faking.
He's not faking. It'll be everybody.
That's stupid. Somebody should have had to stay out right there. Come on, that's so
far,
stupid.
We're what, 15, 16, 17. That's everybody, Terry Radford.
That's so stupid. Why? If you were Colton Lane, Daniel Knight, Bradley Holly, Calgill, Zemke, Tabin, why are you pitting? You literally pitted 11 laps ago, and you saw that tires didn't make a hill of beans for a lot of these drivers. They didn't make that many spots back up. Why the hell would you pit right now?
Now, they didn't make a lot of difference for the drivers. Hold on, Colton may have taken 2 there. That was a fast runoff.
That's even dumber. That's still dumber. So your top 3, Thomas Sink, Colton Lane, Bradley Holly, all took 2. I think that's stupid.
Okay, so talk us through, outside of the personal opinion of it being stupid, talk us through what's going to happen to these cars when you take presumably right sides for the 2. What's going to happen to these cars when you put newer right sides on but you don't change the lefts? What's going to happen to the handling of these cars?
Oh, it's going to be looser than a cow giving birth. I mean, you're going to be in a bad spot. I mean, depending on how much wear you put on them. So maybe I'm going to say Colton Lane's a fish out of water. He pushed it quite a bit. You saw how hard he was driving that 60. Love him to death. He drove it really hard. Tom really didn't. So I would be a little bit more inclined to say that they'd be fine. Calgill sitting right there. Richard beat him off of pit road with 4 tires, but he had track position coming onto the pit lane. So no surprise that he's the middleman in this, because it literally goes 2 tire, 2 tire, 2 tire, 4 tire. And then it goes 2, 2, 2, 4 with Abner. So quite literally the most middle ground person is right there in the 56, but he starts on the outside lane with a 2 tire person right behind him to the inside and the outside.
Well, let me do you a favor. Let's see if I can get you some answers real quick here. I know we're going to go green in a moment here. Hold on 1 second here. Joey Tubbin, Derek Watson, Terry Radford in the booth. Terry Radford is demanding answers, Joey Tubbin. He wants to know why you would pit with 15 minutes to go.
Because I expected us to be able to go green to the end. Clearly, I was mistaken.
Why would you not stay out?
You're talking about this caution or the caution before?
This caution right here.
Why would you stay out? You got 10 minutes to go. The tires are going to be dead.
Who cares? But why would you pit and just follow the leaders? It's going to wreck some more.
Because that would not be smart, and I would be involved in the wreck, unfortunately, because I'd be so much slower on those older tires.
Why didn't you take 2 then? Why don't you take 2 like the rest of them?
Because I think that's going to be uneven.
That's what I said.
The guys who stayed out, Colton, Thomas, Brad, I wish them good luck.
They took 2 tires.
It's going to be uneven, and I worry for their safety.
That's what I said. See, Joey, we're still on the same wavelength, and we ain't called a race in about, 6 months, almost to a year.
I do hope Colton wins instead of Richard, though. That would be great.
Well, we're on that boat, too. I think he's screwed, though.
We're going to put you back. Good luck the rest of the race. Maybe we'll get to talk to you when we're all done.
Thank you, sir.
Love you, Joey. Hope you wreck.
All right. That's Joey Tubbin back there in the field. That is 14th place. So here we go. This field is a little unorganized as far as how they're lined up. Let's see if they get it tightened up here. to be our most unorganized start so far. Look at those gaps in those lines, Terry Radford. But pace car's going to come down. They need to tighten those gaps. And Barney the Flagman is ready. And green flag. And Colton Lane will lead us here on this restart. Now, this is about 10 minutes left to go in this race, Terry Radford. But we are being racy here. Now, with these different tire strategies playing out right here, is this the most dangerous part of the race for someone like a Richard Regan Jr.?
This is absolutely the most dangerous part of this race because he's going to have to put himself in a position he has not been in all race long. He's going to have to race Abner. They're side by side there. Abner cut him off, or Richard cut Abner off. He got to the inside of Thomas Zink. He made that thing stick, but if you're Richard, you got to get through Daniel Knight, who got around you there on that restart. Brad, Colton, who's starting to step away just a little bit here. You got to hope they don't wreck in the back as contact's made. That don't work.
And it's not for a lack of effort. Oh, hold on. That's RaceSpo who got it into the wall and had to check up. And somehow no one hit him.
Somehow.
Reese, that was close. Reese has been driving angry, it feels like, Terry. The moves he's making and not the aggression in a bad way, but just going through the field. Hold on.
Oh, and Patrick Cowgill trying to shake that thing. Oh, Reese again. Yeah, Reese is pissed.
Good.
He's like a dropped Reese's Pieces that get stepped on. Oh, Bradley Holly took the lead. They might not want to race too much. Richard's there. Oh, wrecking in the back. Zimke.
That's Charles Sumner I see back there. And Zimke. Caution. Now, this is going to be interesting because I think this will leave us
2 laps.
Maybe 2 laps. Yeah, maybe 2 laps, depending upon when we catch the pace car here. This will be close. That's Adam Zimke there, I believe, in the shot there with the damaged race car. This might be why you play the 2-tire strategy, Terry. Your Bradley Holly, your Colton Lane. Now, the problem is Richard Regan's going to be right behind them on the start. But we'll see what happens here. We're going to catch the pace car with about 7 minutes to go. I think we'll get maybe a 2-lap shootout here.
Oh.
All right, let's watch on board with Mark Kalin here and see what happens in this wreck. He's got a 2-car fight ahead of him. This is into the tunnel turn. Oh, it's going to watch up and hit the 57. And the 57 just never recovers it.
That'll be
he got hit behind him.
Yeah, that'll be a caution point right there. And
and there's something we don't ever talk about in the broadcast, Terry. This league has all kinds of systems set up to make sure the racing stays clean, including caution points. There are some different systems where you can get tagged for being at fault, and that can affect your racing. Let's watch this here from the outside. That's the 62 is going to tag the 57. And I think Charles Sumner is just going to T-bone. Nothing Charles can do there besides drive on through it.
Well, and that was a bit of a sin on Mark's part.
And that's the danger we talked about in the beginning. You talked about in the beginning of being too wide around this track. Too wide in the tunnel turn is very, very tight, and tighter than it looks. This will be from behind the wreck. Is this Charles Sumner?
Oh, yeah.
This is Charles right here.
He can't even go that low. Oh.
And he tried, like at the last second, he decided to go right, but there was just nowhere to go. There's nothing.
I don't think he wanted Applebee's, but he got Applebee's. And the cars with damage are going to come down pit road. Mike Witt, Charles Sumner, RaceSpo come down. They'll get some damage repair, take that last set of tires. But this is going to be interesting because that was a minute 43.9, and that was the first lap of the caution. Now we got 2 more to go around here. That's 2 minutes and some odd change. We might have a 1-lap shootout.
We might. We'll have to wait and find out here what's going to happen here. Of course, just a little over 5 minutes on the clock. And at least for the Xfinity cars or the truck cars this season, I can think of, Terry, this is the first time we're having to ponder the math on, how many laps on the green flag run here. The yellows have either ended the race or been well before. We've not been in a scenario yet to have this pressure. So if you're Bradley Holly here, you're going to get to control the restart, Terry Radford. What do? Do you make the jump early as soon as Barney says you can? Do you kind of wait to the last second and try to check up the field. If you were in Bradley Holly's spot, what would you do with this restart?
Run like hell. I'm running, man. He hadn't won a race in 2 seasons. That is uncharacteristic for the all-time wins leader. He is the guy when it comes to Wednesday nights. He's Mr. Wednesday Night in my book. When I first started watching the PRL, it was Bradley Holly. That was the guy you had to beat every single week. He hasn't won in a while. He's got to win.
So do you just go as soon as you can and hope to put a gap in this field and hope the wreck happens behind you? Are you concerned about Richard Regan getting around you, so you kind of want to play with the restart? How do you control just the restart part of this if you're for your Bradley Holly? Pace car lights are out, by the way, Terry Radford, so we're going to go green this time by. We're going to get about 2 laps out of this, I think. Maybe 3, but I suspect 2.
I'm glad you asked me with this idea, because with 2 laps, now that you know there are 2 laps left, because the drivers are doing the math, it's a 2-minute lap, so we'll see a 2-minute lap. But at this moment, if you're Brad, you know Richard's there. You know Richard wants to win. What you're hoping is for Abner Acosta to absolutely nail. But if you're Brad, I think you're probably going to see another caution. I think he's begging for one. He's probably praying, doing everything he can do at this moment to know that he's not going to hold that 56 off with raw speed. I don't think we've seen it out of Brad tonight at that speeds there. He's hoping that he probably gets to turn 1, gets off the exit of 1, caution comes out. If that happens, this race is over. Nobody will take it away from Bradley Holly at that moment. But if he gets an authentic restart and we take this thing green to the end with 2 laps, he better hope that Colton Lane tucks right in behind him and just cuts the nose off of that 56.
So last question I'll ask you before we get ready to come around here out of turn 3. Are you concerned about tire spin?
No, not here.
Okay. Well, here we go. This is going to be a 2-lap shootout to the finale, folks. So get ready. Your seatbelts, connected and popcorn ready. I think we're going to be ready to go here. Pace cars leading them through 3. So top 5: Bradley Holly, Colton Lane, Richard Regan, Daniel Knight, Abner Acosta with Ted Lowendeck right behind him. Pace cars down. Maybe for the last, definitely for the last time tonight. Barney the Flagman says, go! It's green flag here back at Pocono. Great jump by Bradley Holly, as we're eventually going to look forward. There we go. I see Bradley Holly got a great jump on the field here. Richard Regan all the way up to 2nd already. And he's going to cut him off in 1, Terry Radford.
If you're Brad, you're praying for a caution right about now, because they're 4 wide behind, and Richard didn't go. Richard didn't take the run that he had there or going into 1. Now Daniel Knight's going to look into the tunnel turn, have a little bit of a run for a second on the 56. We're going to come to the white flag. We come around here. Man, if you're Brad, you're sitting there going, damn, can I see a caution?
If you're Bradley Holly, what you're hoping for is that Daniel Knight gets up here and races side by side with Richard Regan, I think, but they're going to come out of the 3 here. This should, we see Barney the Flagman here in a camera shot maybe. I think we're going to go one more time around here. This is not white flag. We're going to need an extra lap here. We're going to go right now. Oh, if you're Bradley Holly, that's bad news.
Well, that gives you extra opportunities to see the caution flag wave. And here we go. Patrick Cowgill to the inside. 3 wide, almost taken at 4. Elliott White ducks under Cowgill as well. Gagman's all the way to the racetrack. There's a lot of racing going on up front. Bradley Holly, Richard Jr. is under a tenth of a second.
Holly's just doing a great job. Now he's really under attack this time. Out of the tunnel turn, Richard Regan.
He's parking the bus on in the tunnel turn. That's smart. Bradley got a lot of experience. You park it there. What you want to do is you want to make Richard burn it up just a little bit. You make him get to your back bumper and have to lift. You don't want to give him the run. You see it off the exit of 3. Here we go. White flags in the air. 1 lap to go.
This time. There we go. I'm excited. Let's see what Bradley Holly can do. He's going to turn it down here into 1. The fight behind him is far back. Daniel Knight, Abner Acosta not involved in this currently. And again, Holly's not really blocking. He's just definitely making his car as wide as possible.
He's parking the bus in 1-2. He parked it on Richard's nose. He's going to block right here.
Richard's going to try to take the bottom lane. Yep, Daniel Knight's there as well. Look at this battle you see here in this shot.
That's what Bradley wants to see. He wants to see the 17.
This is heaven right here, because this will allow Bradley Holly to put a gap here, because they're going to hold up Richard Reagan out of that corner. Now down here for the final time, entering turn 3. Can Daniel Knight be a factor? Don't think so. We're going to come on a wide turn out of 3. And for the first time this season, Mr. Wednesday Night, Bradley Holly, will win at Pocono.
My man, Bradley Holly.
Look at that battle there. Look at that. Regan, Daniel Knight, Abner, and Costa was super close there.
Hell yeah, Brad. Let's go, baby.
I say the miracles are flowing right there for Bradley Holly, is what you can see right there.
You're damn right it is. That's what I'm talking about, baby. Brad finally gets it done Wednesday night.
Ended up being a 3-lap shootout instead of 2, what I thought it was going to be, but man, that was a great job. At the 2-tire talk, the 4-tire talk, there was definitely a difference. Honestly, okay, Bradley Holly needs to be grateful that Richard Regan is a clean driver. That's all I'm going to say about that, because he could have moved him pretty easily. But let's take a look at your unofficial results here. So Bradley Holly does win this race by 0.213 seconds for Richard Regan. Daniel Knight's in 3rd. Abner Costa is in 4th. Thomas Sink is in 5th. Ted Lowendick is in 6th. Elliott White is 7th. Joey Tebben 8th. Patrick Cowgill is 9th. And Brett Karakoff rounds out your top 10. Mr. Terry Rafford.
Yeah, we go back here to P11. Got Matt Gagnon, Colton Lane, Nicholas Hunter, Jeff Evans, Mark Kalin, who was my pick to come out here and get it done. Chad Kibbe, Reese Bowe, Charles Sumner, Jacob Emery, and Adam Zemke for top 20.
Back to 21st. And rest of the field, Mike Witt, who we saw back there earlier. Nick Byer, Doyle Lawrence, 12 laps down. Then Mike Knight, 24. Doug Evans, 24. And then Jim Westerfield, we saw in that first wreck there, rounds out your top 26. Wow. What a race that was. What a great race that was with these Xfinity cars. Well, we are going to wait for a second and see who shows up to talk with us here in the broadcast booth, Terry. But if you could sum up this race in 1 or 2 words, what would you use?
Awesome. Not because my teammate won, but because my teammate won. I'm so happy for Bradley Holly in the 184. I hate it for Richard. He dominated this thing, but yeah, let's go, Brad. At Miracle Flow 184 looked good up there. That's what I'm talking about. It's good to see your teammates be good, and to see him go out there and win this thing just makes me happy.
It does. Well, let's go ahead and have a word with Richard Regan Jr. Richard, good job on the P2 tonight. So the note you gave me pre-race was you didn't want to see short runs. You wanted to have a long green run. Did that have to do with, not winning, or do you think that you just didn't want to move him, or what happened?
I don't think it had anything to do with not winning, because I definitely had short run pace, but the caution after cautions kind of killed my race. It's pretty unfortunate, in my opinion, that last season we did like 5 or 6 races without a single caution, and then this season we can't even get one in at the biggest track we go to. So it is what it is. Hopefully we can get back to that long run stuff, because I feel like that's when the league was the most exciting. Not only because I was doing good when it was like that, but there was a lot more strategy in play than these restarts. But congrats to Brad finally getting a win again. It's been like 2 seasons, so yeah.
So the last time everyone pitted, so not the last restart, but the one before, everyone comes down pit road. Was there any thought in your head that 2 tires was the call, or are you happy you went with 4?
I don't think so. It only worked for them because they pit like 8 laps before that. They split the field when they came and took 4, and then they realized that it's really hard to get your track position back. So that's why when we had that 2-lap run, I had my guys stay out, because it's just too hard to pass in dirty air. And the only way that would have worked for me with 2 tires would have been if I pitted on that caution.
Fair enough. Well, overall, P2 tonight, a good job. Next week we move to another road course, Road America. What are your thoughts on that?
I don't like Road America, so we'll see how that goes. I'm not really the biggest fan on having 4 road courses this season, but that's what we get dealt with, and everyone has to deal with it. So I built pretty decent point lead on Abner these first couple 4 races or 5 races, whatever we're in now, and hopefully I can just have strong finishes at these road courses and be there at the end. And like I've been saying for weeks, our season ends at Daytona, so we only got really one more race to build a point lead. So we'll see how that goes.
Awesome. Well, great job tonight. Anyone want to thank before you head out?
Yeah, I got to give a shout out to Multiple Sclerosis Society, Neonism Paints. You need a paint, go to facebook.com/neonism. Tell them the PRL sent you. Mission 22, Mr. Hedge Photography for coming on board. New sponsor to PRL and me. Everybody at the PRL and you guys at RaceSpot.
Thank you very much. All right. Well, that is Richard Regan. He finished P2 tonight, Terry. And I think you have caught up with Bradley Holly.
Brad, what's going on, brother? You're a winner again.
Yep, what's going on?
Oh, man. I tell you, I'm smiling ear to ear watching you come across the start-finish line and getting a win on that 184 Miracle Flow machine. Not because I use Miracle Flow shampoo, but because it is so awesome after 2 seasons to see you get a win again. You deserve to be in victory lane. How does this one feel?
Feels a lot better. Richard was definitely the class of the field tonight, and with the 2-tire strategy, I was a little bit slower on the apex, but with how well it was turning in, it was going to be a fun race.
Well, we go to Road America next week, and road course racing. You're going to come in as the defending winner in the PRL Xfinity Series. You just want to go in and survive, or do you think you're going to be all right?
I think I'll be all right. Just got to hope that Abner gets taken out or something.
That's a good point.
And some of the other road course guys, so to have a chance of winning. But as long as I can keep it on track and do well, I think I'll have hopefully a top 5 finish.
Brad, you're a winner again in the PRL, man.
It feels good.
We're going to celebrate after this one, buddy. Congrats on this win. It's awesome. That's your winner here at Pocono. That's Bradley Holly. And, well, we got Daniel Knight coming up next. Derek finished 3rd. Had a good run. We'll see what Daniel's got to say to Derek.
Daniel, good job at P3 tonight. So the first question I have for you before we get to the end of the race. We saw you mid-race getting down on the yellow line in turn 1, and that car somehow did not spin around 4 times. Can you tell me how you do that so I can learn from you?
I learned a long time ago that if you go where all the other cars are, you won't pass them. So I just tried doing something different and managed to make it stick, but didn't stick a few times after that. So it was just the whole name of this race was just trying to get as much air on the nose as you could and keep up with everyone in front of you and wait for someone to mess up.
So the last restart was crazy. We were doing the math up here. Was it going to be 2 laps? Was it going to be 3 laps? What was it going to look like? We saw you out there racing with Abner and Richard and the others. Coming with the P3, was that better than you thought was going to happen when the green flag fell for the last time?
Oh, yeah. I mean, we weren't sure exactly how the 2-tire strategy would feel. Coming through the turns, Brad and I think both on the radio said that it was the best the cars felt all race. So we were just trying to survive. I was hoping to, if Abner and Elliott got past me there, that'd have been fine. I was just hoping for a top 5 and just kind of hang on to what we had.
All right. Are you racing with us next week at Road America?
Oh, I'll be there. You might not see me in this position, but I'll definitely be there.
Do you like the track? But I think you already answered my question.
I like road courses. I'm not very good at them, but I enjoy running them.
That's fair. That's fair. Well, great job tonight, P3. Anyone you want to say hello to or thank before you head out?
Yeah, just thanks to everybody at PRL for putting on an awesome league and having really fun, close racing like this every week, and you guys for watching our shenanigans week in and week out.
They're usually fun shenanigans, so you guys make it pretty easy to do. Well, Daniel, once again, good job on P3 tonight, and we'll see you next week.
All right, thanks, Derek.
You all right? That is your top 3 for the night, Mr. Radford, and Pocono was fun. It was a blast. I don't say that very often, but I had a good time tonight.
Yeah, it was a good time, and you did a really good job leading the coverage around here. I look forward to watching next week at Richmond, or Road America, at Richmond and Road America, 2 R's, and you catch that next week, 8:30 Eastern Standard Time for our Truck Series. That'll kick off our show. That is the July 26th edition. of the PRL Wednesday night series. Richmond for trucks, Road America for the Xfinity series. I believe it's Lorenzo Border that's going to come join you, Derek. I can't wait to watch the action. You did amazing tonight. 100% on your game of what needed to be done. And Road America next week. I did a coverage from here for Road to Pro. I will say this will be a very entertaining week next week.
It will be entertaining on their game night, as well as Bradley Holly. Congrats to him once again. Thank you guys for tuning in, and we'll see you next week here on Race Spots for more PRL truck and Xfinity action.